Hello, and welcome to our 4th annual year-end anti-MLM roundup. I honestly cannot believe that this is our 4th year doing this, but here we are, the top 10 anti-MLM fails of 2025, and boy oh boy, was it an eventful year. From distributors acting a fool to companies mistreating their distributors and or shutting down completely, there was no shortage of drama this year. While 2024 saw the closure of many MLMs, this year we didn't see as many, but I do want to start off this year's video with a moment of silence for the ones that we did lose: Epicure, Modere, and Ruby Ribbon. Okay, that's quite enough of that. I am so excited to jump into this year's list with you, but first, a word from our sponsor, Factor. If you've been here for a while, you've undoubtedly heard me talk about Factor, and that's because I love it. Factor delivers fresh, never frozen, chef-crafted, and dietitian-approved meals straight to your doorstep. These meals are ready to eat in about 2 minutes, and they're designed to fit whatever goals you have for yourself, whether it be to eat more protein, track your calories, stick to a meatless diet, or whatever suits you. I just had my annual checkup this week, and was I scared to step on the scale? Yes, I'll be completely honest, but you know what? I actually have lost 7 pounds since I started keeping track of my calories, and Factor has just streamlined that process for me, especially because the app that I use to count and track my calories has most of Factor's meals already preloaded into it, so you just type it in and then it's already there. So that's been super convenient. Unmatched convenience. Also, most of the meals they've ever sent me have been like 600 calories or less, but they're still super filling. Like this meal that was under 500 calories, and it was freaking mac and cheese. Oh my goodness, guys, this was delicious. I cannot stress that enough. And even though the calorie count wasn't crazy high, it felt like a cheat meal. And the best part about Factor is there's no cleanup required. You just heat and eat. It's so easy and so convenient, especially for me as a mom, because that's just one less mess that I have to run around cleaning up in this house. So if you're ready to get started with Factor today, you can head to factor75.com or click the link below and use the code SavannahMarieFB50 to get 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code SavannahMarieFB50 at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free breakfast for 1 year. And this offer is only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Thank you so much, Factor, for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get into our top 10 anti-MLM fails of 2025. Let's go! Number 10. Enagic bro threatens anti-MLMers. In February of 2025, this video made its way onto our feeds. It was posted by my friend Tish, aka Echo, and it featured this guy named Chris King, an Australian influencer who's also a distributor for the company Enagic. Enagic is the Kangen water MLM. You know, the $5,000 plus water machines that they say prevents and cures basically every disease ever, including cancer. Yep, that's where this little guy comes from. Imagine, if you will, being a successful and confident man. If you feel so secure in yourself, your business, and your finances, would you go onto your Instagram stories and say something like this?
It's funny, right? Because these guys that are creating these pages and making these reels, they're buying fake accounts. They have cartoons as their fucking profile picture. There's no name. They don't show their face. Because at the end of the day, if they run into, or if we run into one of them and they see us down the street, what do you think they're going to do? What do you think they're going to do? And if we knew they were who they are, do you think we'll just go, oh, hey, mate, how you going? No, they know for a fact that we would fucking fold them.
First of all, plenty of anti-MLM accounts feature our own faces, hi, hello. But secondly, and this is what I find most concerning, is that, yeah, there are men who are anti-MLM, but the vast majority of anti-MLM creators are women. So tell me, sir, if you are so secure within yourself, why do you find the need to threaten physical violence against women just because they have a different opinion than you? Does that make you feel big big and strong. Also, fold me? What am I, a lawn chair? That must be some goofy Aussie slang, but regardless, confident men don't feel the need to physically harm other people, especially women, to prove how big and strong and manly they are. But anyway, let's continue.
And it's honestly a shame that you're not putting this time and energy into something that could actually make you money, right? You're creating reels, you're doing content, you're doing exactly what we're doing, but you're creating hate and you're getting nowhere because of it, all right? So I hope it makes you feel good, and just know that if we do find out who you are, it's not just going to be like, oh, we'll let you slide. Like, you don't know who people are, right? You see us on social media, but you don't know me.
I think what this dude fails to realize is that for a lot of us anyway, this is our job. For me specifically, exposing scams and unethical behavior does pay my bills. And I feel like I'm getting somewhere, bud. The anti-MLM movement has been responsible for a lot of the instability that we see today in the world of network marketing. But if your business opportunity was legitimate, why are you getting so defensive? This is definitely the shortest fail that I'm featuring this year, but I had to give it a spot on this year's top fails because if you really feel the need to get up on your soapbox and threaten physical violence against people, mainly women, then I think you're trying to point the blame at anyone else other than yourself. Don't blame the messenger, little guy. How about blame your company? Blame their compensation plan. Blame the industry. It seems to be causing you a lot of distress, sir. Number 9, Sunnee D. In 2025, I was introduced to this mess of a woman. She goes by Sunnee D, or at Fizzin' with Sunnee D on TikTok, and has built up a following of about 61,000 people on the platform. Sunnee D rose to internet fame as a distributor in the MLM called Bomb Party, which is one of those surprise jewelry MLMs that you see if you scroll through all the live streams on TikTok, where they throw a bath bomb into boiling water and then it fizzes away to reveal a ring that's usually pretty ugly. Sunnee D gets our number 9 spot this year for her bizarre and repetitive crash outs, her unwillingness to take any responsibility for herself, and for being a clear example of how not to behave when the internet is watching. In January 2025, she had her first drunken meltdown on a live stream. Long story short, Sunnee D has a teenage daughter at home, a minor by the way. Her daughter wanted to have her 19-year-old boyfriend spend the night with her. Sunnee told her no, and then allegedly her daughter pulled her hair and punched her. Is this okay behavior? No. Is this normal behavior for a teenage girl? Also no. Is it a good idea to immediately hop on a live stream right after this incident goes down in your life? Absolutely not. Does Sunnee D think and make decisions like normal people? No. No, she doesn't. The meltdown originally happened because after this supposed incident, Sunnee D went into her Bomb Party Facebook group and basically said, hey guys, I'm running late for tonight's live stream because my 16-year-old daughter just assaulted me. Someone in her group saw this and reposted it to a Bomb Party Snark subreddit, which is what really sent Sunnee over the edge and led her to press that live button. The resulting live stream was a sight to behold in the worst way. I covered it in depth here on this YouTube channel. It'll be linked in the description along with all my other links and things that I mention here, so you can go watch my coverage if you want to. But let's go through some highlights.
Any of y'all that want to record and post to Reddit, give it about 2 minutes and you can hit record and then post it to Reddit. You f***ing assholes. What kind of asshole does that? I'm sorry I look like shit. My hair's ratted up. My 16-year-old daughter decided she wanted to fight me tonight and I didn't fight back. Got blood on my forehead because I wouldn't let her boyfriend spend the night. Those of you assholes who don't have teenage daughters that wanted to screenshot my post and post it on Reddit and make me look like an asshole, f*** you. Start screen recording now. You. So look, I'm still missing hair. I'm still losing hair. My daughter punched me and kicked me in my face tonight. And it is not okay to post that on Reddit and try to make me look like an asshole. I'm a good mom for that. So you. You. And I didn't hit my daughter back. I let her hit me and punch me and kick me in my face. So you. Whoever that was. I'm a good mom for not hitting my daughter back. So you. Screen record that and post it on Reddit, you bitches. But for the rest of you, I love you. As you can see, I've been crying. None of y'all bitches would say shit to my face. Because I would knock you the out. None of y'all bitches on Reddit would ever tell me who the you are. Because I literally would buy a first-class ticket to where the you live, show up at your front door and be like, come talk to me. And none of y'all bitches would come outside to talk to me. Because you're punk-ass bitches. Okay, because I'm a real bitch. I'll knock you the out. Look at that. Okay, I bet you I can still pull more hair out of my head. Yep, ain't lying, still pulling hair out my head. I'm a real bitch. Unlike most of you guys on Reddit, hiding behind a fake name. Come at me under your real name, bitches. Let's talk, coward-ass bitches. Yeah, you Cowards.
Sunnee's crash out is a masterclass of how not to behave on the internet if you give a singular crap about privacy. Not just her own privacy, but also her minor daughter. Because Sunnee has pictures of her daughter on her public Facebook page. She posts her name and where they live. If Sunnee really thinks that this incident couldn't possibly come back to haunt her own daughter someday, she's naive as hell and also extremely inconsiderate of her daughter's future. This incident is something that should never have been blasted all over the internet. This should have remained a private family matter, but Sunnee D decided to fuel herself up with alcohol and then went on this live stream rampage, and it should have never happened. Sunnee also pretty much exposes herself as maybe not the best parent ever by intentionally spoiling her child all her life.
My teenage daughter decided to attack me tonight because I wouldn't let her boyfriend spend the night, and you think that's something cool to post on Reddit? While I'm bawling my eyes out, upset that my own kid put her hands on me, that I've spoiled. I've done everything. I've spoiled that girl. Gave her a credit card to walk around with. She could spend wherever she wanted. I don't make her do no chores. That girl has everything she wants, but because I said no at 16, her boyfriend couldn't spend the night, I let my kid beat me up when I could have destroyed her ass.
You can't give your kid a credit card and tell her she can spend it however she wants, never give her limits, never tell her no in her entire life, and then act all surprised when she rebels when you try to use your parental authority. And of course, instead of taking personal accountability and taking a moment to chill out, she decided to use Reddit as a scapegoat to get out of her own responsibility in all this. While she is a victim in this mess, she tries to victimize herself further than what she's entitled to by being like, woe is me, my personal information got thrown all over Reddit, when it was her responsibility to keep it private herself in the first place. The next day, Sunnee did post an apology to her Facebook group, basically saying, yeah, I shouldn't have gone live, I was drinking and that made it worse, but then at the end, she plays the victim again, saying, I haven't eaten, I haven't slept, my personal business shouldn't have been posted to Reddit because there should be human limits, I didn't even want to make this post. But did you think that that was the last of Sunnee D that we saw in 2025? What if I told you it gets weirder? Buckle in, because now we have to talk about the second crash out that she had on a live stream this year that led to her being fired from Bomb Party. In August 2025, Sunnee D was getting into some hot water, or boiling water, pun intended, with Bomb Party. According to her, the company had suspended her for shaking boxes of jewelry to try to avoid giving her customers duplicates, which is not allowed according to Bomb Party's terms and conditions because it ruins the surprise. She was also being reprimanded for a slew of other things, like posting that she earned a trip to Hawaii through Bomb Party. I guess you can't use the word earn when you're a BP rep, since this terminology isn't against FTC guidelines, just BP. She was also accused of selling to D-stashers, which is also against the rules. On this night, fresh off the heels of her suspension from Bomb Party, Sunnee attended a concert in which she admitted to having 3 double-shot cocktails, and of course, she made the decision to go live as they were leaving the venue. She ended up saying so much unhinged stuff, resulting in her termination. Let's take a look.
Oh my god, you just dropped a $12 drink, bitch. Well, hello, officer. You're so gross. We don't care about you. I've had like 12 different companies reach out to me in the past couple days. Wanted to recruit me because they know I'm a big seller from Bomb Party. So like if Bomb Party wants to get rid of me, which I know they don't, and I'm not talking shit, but I've got many companies that are ready to recruit my ass. So you can show me all you want. Oh, people are so gross. People are so gross. Can you imagine being a person that just like wanted to report someone multiple times to get them in trouble when they have 3 kids and a husband and mortgage, car payments, bills, and all that other shit? Imagine being that person. Low life. A low life. A low life. I shook a box on my live to make sure nobody got no dupes. And I posted about earning Hawaii trip. That's what I was suspended for 30 days. I had so many complaints about me, they had to do something. So I've had like 75,000 people reach out to me from other MLMs and other things trying to recruit me. Everybody's trying to recruit me right now. We would love to have you. We would never treat you this way. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm not trying to cause any problems. But I'm just saying there's lots of people that would be really happy to have me on their team. I've been a top seller in this company for 3 years. I'm being called a liar. I'm being called that I fabricated a story they can't prove. I'm being told I'm selling to a D-stasher, but they don't know who she is. Can't prove where she's going live. Can't prove anything. They don't know who she is, but it's suspicious. She sells the shit she don't want. The ugly shit. Let's be real. There's ugly shit. I don't want to say anything to get myself in trouble because I know people are screen recording this, so I'm not going to say anything to get me in trouble. They want to take food out of my kids' mouth. They want to make sure my kids don't have school clothes. They want to make sure that my kids don't have their bills paid. They want to make sure all of this because I'm an MLM. They're trying to hunt me down and destroy me because I'm good at what I do. Somebody's out to get me. Jealous, hateful bitches. Some people have a lot of money, and some people like to sell the shit on the buy-sell trade pages that are ugly as and I should not be doing this right now, but I have so many people headhunting me that want me on their team that will actually appreciate me and the value and the money I would bring to the team and the company. I don't do anything wrong to break the rules. And if you don't like something because it's ugly, do you know how bad it hurts to know that the company that you work for and you bust the ass for 3 years does not have your back when you've done nothing wrong? I shook a box on a live, which I do multiple times. I literally went live after my daughter beat my ass. I would literally give you my whole bank account and my 3 kids' life if you could prove I did it, because I've never done it. I'm not gonna sit back and sit quiet and make me be the one that's made an ass of when I didn't do it. You will not make me be quiet. It is very unnerving. It makes you feel like you don't matter. It makes you feel like everything you've done does not matter, that nobody cares about you. When you're busting your ass, draining yourself on a live, do you guys even know what it feels like after you do a 10-hour live when you're going, I wake up and I can't even take care of my children without being delirious. If I get terminated tomorrow because of this live, that's fine. I'm not doing anything wrong. My reputation is being destroyed and talked about on many different websites when I've done nothing wrong. And I can't stay quiet anymore because I've done nothing wrong. I shook a box and I posted that I earned Hawaii. I'm sorry. Yeah, my upline's calling me. She's telling me to shut the up. And I know this is going to get me in trouble. I know it is. And I know that people are screen recording this and you're going to post it because, like, you don't give a f about the fact that I have 3 kids and a family feed because I work for an MLM. Oh my God, get a real job. I had a real job for years, bitch. You want to get me off of BP? Guess what? I'm going to sell something else and I'm going to be good at it and I'm going to earn awards for it like I have my whole life for everything else. And that's where I'm at. That I don't give a f right now because my feelings are hurt because nobody has my back right now when I did nothing wrong. I did 2 things wrong. I shook a box and I posted that I earned Hawaii.
So to summarize, Sunnee D did nothing wrong. Except for all the things that she did wrong. She also insulted the company's products by calling them ugly, which valid. She bragged about all the alleged companies who were sliding into her DMs and reaching out to her, trying to recruit her. And she tried to play the victim because she's a mom with kids who need to eat. And people who keep reporting me just want to take food out of my children's mouth. Like, you really can't make this stuff up. Obviously, as any of us would do if we were running a company and had an affiliate acting like this, Bomb Party sent Sunnee an email the next morning informing her of her termination. The biggest issue here is that Sunnee actually had over $60,000 worth of Bomb Party inventory sitting in her house.
I'm gonna de-stash some of it, but you guys, I'm sitting on $60,000 worth of inventory.
Luckily for her, Face Candy Jenna, aka the Winnie of Bomb Party, that got a spot in last year's wrap-up, ended up buying a huge chunk of it off of her. Sunnee got rid of all $60,000 worth of her inventory almost immediately, which is wild. She went live again, this time sober and more chilled out, and basically said, I'm not gonna tell you what company I'm going to, and then immediately after that she's like, by the way, I'm going to Rise.
I don't want to discuss what I'm gonna do yet until I actually sign on the dotted line. Because I do have lots of people reaching out to me about joining them and doing different things. I know you guys want to, my plan is to go to Rise. My plan is to go to Rise.
So Rise is another surprise jewelry company just like Bomb Party. Although after Sunnee joined, Rise did away with their bath bomb reveals and now the distributors just open boxes on their live streams. So she's practically doing the same thing that she was doing before, minus the fizzing. Since joining Rise, Sunnee has not gotten into any controversies. Yet. Knowing Sunnee though, I'm sure it's coming. But as a matter of fact, she has found significant success in Rise. She's been blowing through so much inventory and allegedly recruiting tons of people. If it were anything other than an MLM, I'd congratulate her. Unfortunately, Rise is not really any more or less ethical than Bomb Party is, in my opinion. Sunnee D's termination resulted in huge backlash against Bomb Party. We have not heard the end of Sunnee's story, but we're gonna go ahead and save that part for later in this video. Number 8, Beauty by StephanieA and Leigh Kubina. So this situation is one that I was involved with personally that I feel like not enough people heard about. But it's worthy of a spot on this year's list of top fails because this pharmacy distributor failed so hard that she wound up exposing herself as being a monster who uses her child's cancer to sell her terrible makeup. But it's kind of a long story that has multiple moving parts. I'll try to keep it brief, but dear Lord, what a mess. So to get started on this story, we have to talk about this woman first. This is Stephanie Amburn, aka Beauty by StephanieA LLC, also a pharmacy distributor. Pharmacy is an MLM that sells makeup for surprisingly cheap prices compared to other makeup MLMs. And Stephanie rose to internet fame because she does this unibrow thing in her content that draws viewers in out of curiosity. Why did this lady purposely give herself a unibrow? Why does she look so silly? Well, because marketing. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. In the world of online content creation, this is genius marketing, and it worked well for her. But what started this entire thing is that there was a bit of a kerfuffle in Stephanie's pharmacy team. By the way, I have long form videos of all of this where I show you the entire fight and everything. So if you want more context, again, I'll have my links all down below. You can go watch those videos in full. But for the sake of brevity, we're just gonna summarize it here. The fight was live streamed, resulting in Stephanie and her upline, Leigh Kubina, who really is the main villain in this whole story, defending themselves in a live stream and acting like complete fools. And I want you to take notice here that Amber and Stephanie inserted themselves into this live stream screaming match. It's a pattern of behavior for Amber, as you'll learn. The entire reason she's caught up in Stephanie's drama is because she feels the need to defend her because she's her cash cow. And it got her into a ton of trouble. First though, let's observe this live stream fight. Now, I do believe this actual fight took place in 2024, but it was unearthed in 2025, and then all of the drama that came after it, and I guess the drama that kind of came before it a little bit with the anti-MLM movement, it all happened in 2025. But the live stream is important because it's very telling backstory. So the women at the beginning here are downlines of Stephanie and by extension Amber. Amber's already there defending Stephanie. Stephanie is typing in the chat but has yet to show up on the live stream. They're airing their grievances out to Amber about how they felt mistreated by Stephanie as their upline. And they didn't start off being catty. They started out just speaking their minds, and things were relatively calm. The downlines started to accuse Stephanie of kicking them out of their team's group chat, which obviously can be harmful to these distributors as they're being left out of announcements and things that are probably important for team members to know. But the reason Stephanie kicked them out is because allegedly these distributors had some kind of premium image service. I assume Canva, I don't really know for sure. When someone in the team asked if they could use the assets that these people had been paying for themselves, they said, no, I pay for my own account and so can you.
But we just simply said that there's things on here that we don't want to share because we're paying for it and we don't feel like that we should. And so then it came back at us like, oh, it's only $5.99. Well, actually, I paid $9.99 for it.
Stephanie saw this as disrespectful because she's like, we're a team, we need to share. When that's really not how any of this works. And since Stephanie and Amber are the uplines, if they want their team to have access to this premium service, then they should be the ones to fork up the money for it. But instead, Amber comes back with, well, Stephanie has recruited people and put them under you. She shared with you, so you need to share with her and the rest of the team. And these people should not be expected to do that. No matter what your upline has ever done for you, this is not your responsibility. Plus, usually when an upline does something for you, it's because they're gaining something in return as well.
She gave you a girl under her, which corporate doesn't tell you to do. I've never done that. That's a gift.
I understand it was an option, and Stephanie chose that option, and she chose to give me someone, and I was very grateful for it.
As we should know, once you get to the higher ranks in an MLM, you can only rank up if people in your downline also rank up. Stephanie likely benefited as well by placing her own personal recruits under people in her downline. But in Amber's world, this was out of the goodness of Stephanie's heart, so you need to give things to Stephanie too. Eventually, Stephanie had enough and decided to barge into the chat and defend herself, and, well, it got really messy.
Here's my thing. You're not gonna, I could care less what you do. The thing is you need to quit running my name in the dirt. I have not said your name one time, so don't lie on here about me. You need to tell all the truth about everything. Quit lying. Quit lying because people are coming to my page. Miss Betty came to my page and left rude comments too. That's why she got blocked.
Is your tone appropriate right now? I think as you being in Casey's live, I think everybody wants to talk.
Max, I'm not talking to you. You understand that? How about that?
We need to take it down and have a normal conversation.
Exactly. Your tone needs to be respectful in here because Casey allowed you to be in this live. That's unprofessional.
Very unprofessional.
Let's be respectful.
I'm trying to be professional here. Why did you go on live on Sunday night and say that we bullied you in that meeting?
Because you guys have.
You guys did.
You have been bullying me. You guys are. I can't believe you guys are sitting here and actually saying this. That's what's beyond me. That is what is beyond me.
The way you act.
Of course you're gonna break. You're gonna. Oh, because I go to church. Because I go to church. I'm not supposed to tell the truth. It's the truth.
Stephanie.
Casey, it's the truth.
So full of yourself.
Stephanie.
You said
It got bad enough that Stephanie was basically like, yeah, I'm your upline, but we don't get along, so I'm not talking to you anymore. And corporate won't let you change uplines, so you're stuck with me.
You are my leader, right? You are my sponsor.
Not anymore. I'm your sponsor, but you can consider I'm not, right? Remember, we don't get along.
According to compliance, you are my leader, and you are supposed to have contact with me.
The argument comes to a point where Amber decides to hop back in and literally starts yelling and swearing in defense of Stephanie.
You guys not get there's how many of you against her? You guys
Nobody's against her. We're trying to have a conversation. Nobody's against her. We're trying to talk this out, Amber.
Can you guys not leave me alone? Leave my name out of your mouth.
We've left you alone. You're the one that started it again.
No, in your 5,000K followers versus your 85K. Stop trying to get clout off of my name and talking about me and sending people to me. That's what you're doing right here. That's what you're doing.
What is the 6-way conversation thing? Like that we have to jump in on to defend ourselves because you are lying.
Yeah.
What did I lie about? What did I lie about?
She blocked you and you made a whole other account.
Yeah.
Why?
Well,
that was it.
Because you know why she did it?
You did that the whole time. I asked you a question and you would turn around and ask another one.
Because that's what
Do you see who's been professional and who's not?
I don't give a fuck. I'm sick of this shit. Leave the girl alone.
Can you mute Amber?
I'm not talking to you, Amber.
Oh, fuck off. Mute me then.
Oh my God.
Amber ended up getting kicked out of this live stream at this point because she wouldn't stop swearing, and the person who was hosting the live stream was like, please don't swear on my live stream. Amber didn't care, so they were like, bye. But Stephanie stayed on and continued to be a toxic mess, saying, if you don't want to be on my team, then you're gonna have to quit.
You're getting yourself,
you're getting yourself in bigger trouble than what you think.
Okay,
You've met your match. You've met your match.
You've met your match too. Good luck. That's what I'm gonna say. Try to get moved off my team because it won't happen. So good luck, and I'm gonna leave you at that.
If you don't like me, move me off your team.
I'm not allowing you to move. You'll have to quit. So good luck on that.
I won't quit, baby. I won't quit.
Well, good, because I'll make that money from you.
Thanks for that money in your pocket.
Good. I'll make 4% from you.
You're pretty low life.
Yeah.
Do that.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh God,
Sure.
don't you look so pretty?
Sure. Go drink you another, Casey.
Honey, I ain't had nothing to drink.
Not yet. Not
I don't
yet.
know what you
Not
call
yet. You want to call out things? I can call it out.
I can call it out too, you meth head.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. You would call me meth head? Okay.
Yes, you were.
This needs to stop.
I was.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, sure was. Sure was. Sure was. I fell off my rocker for 3 years. Sure did. I went to jail. Sure did. I went jail. I did jail time. Sure did.
And quitting is exactly what these people did. They left Stephanie's team and they joined different MLMs. But that was just the beginning of Stephanie's rampage.
I am so tired of hearing my name on the internet. You have to use it for clout because you can't get none of your own. I'm taking legal action. It's went way entirely too far. I'm the one being blamed. I'm the one being called a meth head. You want to know what? By goodness, yes. Go check my record. Go check it. I went to jail how many times in that past 3 years that I went to jail during when I lost my dang mind because I lost everything because my husband was laying in a hospital bed and couldn't move. Tell me how you would be when you lost it all. Your business. Tell me what you would do. You didn't have nobody helping you. Over $500,000 in doctor bills at that point. Tell me how you would do. Tell me how you would be being a caregiver 24/7 every day without a break. So you want to know what? I fell off my rocker. Sure did. Yes. Yes, I did. Am I proud of that? No, I am not. That will haunt me until I leave this world. You understand that? That will haunt me until I leave this world. You don't understand. But I'm going to tell you this is not fair. And I am taking legal action. And they're going to pay. They're going to pay. My husband's family is millionaires. So I hope they're ready. I hope they're ready. I hope they're ready. I hope they're ready for what they're getting. Because this is nuts. I didn't do enough. I gave you orders. But I didn't do enough. I gave you a body, but I didn't do enough. I'm not a good leader because I didn't take your side when you were talking to people like dogs. You treat me any old way and say whatever you want to. But when it comes to when I kick you out of a chat because you're disrespectful to the rest of the group, then it's my fault. It's my fault. I'm standing up for me and I'm tired of it and I am taking legal action. This only goes so far. You'll see my actions will come to fruition.
Did Stephanie take legal action? To my knowledge, no. But she did keep yapping about it and having more live stream crash outs like this one.
I'm fed up. Fed up. I've had teammates get into it with each other over one customer buying from this one, going to this one, going to this one, and causing drama in the team. We're in network marketing. You need to add people to your network, right? I mean, come on now. It's social media. If you're in network marketing or you're selling anything, the whole point is to grow. Duh. I am yelling. I am raising my voice. Guess what? This is my life. This is my house. I want people to know that I mean business. You know? You see what it's doing? I got almost 700 in here. What?
Now, these last 2 live stream videos that I just played for you ended up being posted to the Anti-MLM subreddit, and my friend Say Hello to DeeCee happened to find them not knowing the context of that live stream fight. But DeeCee reacted to them, and guess who showed up in the chat to defend herself? Yup, Stephanie. She left multiple comments on DeeCee's live stream, and she also sent her flying monkeys after DeeCee as well. It even got to the point where she accused DeeCee of copyright infringement, even though all of DeeCee's content is subject to the fair use doctrine of the United States copyright law. And in typical Stephanie fashion, she went live on Facebook immediately after she got done posting all of those comments on DeeCee's live stream, and it was a bizarre disaster.
You know, it really sucks for myself that I fear for my life. Like, I can't even go out in public. Like, I have to worry about that type of thing now. And it's really scary. It really is a very scary situation, to be 100% honest about it. That somebody is that obsessed with you and you have MLM haters.
She fears for her life because an anti-MLM YouTuber reacted to her content on a live stream, guys. Stephanie also reiterated her misunderstanding of copyright law.
They want to splice down and record certain sections of my content, which is actually against anything. I don't give anyone the right to record anything of mine. That is copyright infringement, and I do have an LLC, and I will come for you, just for anybody listening, okay? So, use my content without my knowledge in a negative manner, and I will come for you. Okay.
She showed us that she still has a victim mentality and takes no responsibility for her behavior.
You know, I've been hurt really badly, and I'm just going to go through this. If you don't want to support me because I have drug charges, don't support me. You understand? I'm not hiding it. I'm not hiding anything. of what I used to be, of what I did. And to be honest, I probably shouldn't even be on here right now. But I'm very hurt right now. And you know why I'm so hurt? Because this stuff came out because of me being bullied. Every day, I was being bullied every day for 4 months by certain individuals. And that stuff was supposed to be dropped and stopped and not keep going. But unfortunately, there's videos that are around that are sections of recording my videos and recording my content to try to twist everything that I say, everything that I do.
She tries to suggest that people holding her accountable will result in her relapsing, and that would be our fault.
You know, it would be super sad if I just fell off my rocker, because I did use those words, and I never got up. Like, what do you want out of life? Do you want people to get better? Or do you want people to continue to dig themselves in a hole? What does society want? I'm asking a serious question. So, because I fell off my rocker for 3 years, I already have to live with that until I leave this world, you know? But is that going to be brought up for the rest of my life because I'm successful and somebody wants to try to bring me down to destroy my business? Like, make that make sense to me. I'm not understanding it. I don't understand.
And then, as if she couldn't get any more nasty, she made a personal jab at DeeCee. And what you need to know is that what Stephanie made fun of DeeCee for was actually a symptom of one of DeeCee's medical issues. And that is not okay. It is never okay to hold that against somebody. And it's disgusting behavior on Stephanie's part.
I did hear them talk about BP and prove it. So they're definitely MLM haters. I can tell you that. With a hat, with long hair, with a red face.
Oh, thanks so much. Appreciate y'all commenting on my medical shit. That's fun. That's like so fun. Wow. Par for the course, I guess. How I look doesn't add or take away from the fact that multi-level marketing is an unethical business model. How I look doesn't make my ideas better or worse. How I look is the most uninteresting thing about me. When I hear her comment about my red face, the story I make up about that is that she was trying to take me down a notch, and that commenting on my appearance either made her feel good or somehow took away from what I was saying. And I'm upset. I'm not going to share all my medical stuff. How I'm feeling right now is why I don't comment on how people look. Because I don't want them to feel like this. I want to stay in logical fallacies. I want to stay in FTC violations. I want to stay in bad business practices. I'm dysregulated right now, and I'm trying to decide what I need to do.
DeeCee, of course, as we just saw, was live reacting to Stephanie on her live stream, which resulted in the clip we just saw that made DeeCee upset. And this is where I came in. I have mama bear protective instincts when it comes to DeeCee. So as DeeCee was live streaming her reaction to all of this, guess who was in the chat? Yup, Stephanie. But more detrimentally, Amber Leigh Kubina, Stephanie's upline. So I was in the live chat at the time pushing back on Amber and Stephanie's bullshittery. And I'm just gonna show you clips from the video I made about this because I read through some of the cultish comments and stuff. But Amber was leaving some wild stuff in the chat. This is the comment that set me off while I was in the chat in DeeCee's chat. It set a lot of other people off as well. Amber said, "People need this opportunity," referring to Pharmacy, the multi-level marketing company. "This has built my confidence so much. I'm so much more positive thinking and not so depressed. My son had cancer and this saved me not going crazy." As you can see at the top of this screenshot, Amber's comment is there. Oh, here's a comment from Stephanie on that same live just a few moments after Amber's cancer comment. But this just shows, like, yeah, Stephanie was in the chat basically being like, I don't need my team. I don't make money off my team, basically. She said, I do make 6 figures a year or more on my own sales without one single teammate. But I get what y'all are doing. I love the company I'm currently in. So then Amber comes back after that cancer comment, says, I will be so honest with you because have nothing to hide. A couple comments down, we have Broken Waffles, Joan. She said, Amber, please do not bring your son into this, which, yes, thank you. Amber goes on to say, he is cancer free. He is 15 and went through 9 months of chemo. Jessica, Auntie Lushy, says, you realize how inappropriate it is to use your child's cancer in your MLM pitch. Surely. Call it out. Call it like you see it, dude. And then right after that is when I chimed in. I said, that's great, Amber, but let's not use your child's cancer to sell your MLM opportunity, for fuck's sake. It's gross. Stephanie then chimes in and says, my income actually did help Amber and her son for almost a year when she couldn't work. It's a real thing. Amber says, it was the worst experience of my life and thank you. He's my only son. I think in response to my comment, because I used the word pitch, right? Oh, I said to sell your MLM opportunity, whatever. She said, I never pitched that. Yet here she is in the chat fucking doing it. And then Amber also says, that's foul. It is anyone, if anyone does, is what she meant. Amber said, do people do that? Use their child's sickness to recruit? Yeah, they do. And so people in the chat started telling her, yes, Amber, unfortunately, we see it a lot. And Amber said, that's an awful person then. I said, yes, Amber, all the time. You basically just did it. Broken Waffles says, Amber, yes, you just weaved in your son's illness to prove your point. I will say it again. So glad he's cancer free, but why bring it up? Cassosity says you're doing it even if you don't realize it. Amber said, it's still fresh. That's why. Amber said, I'm sorry, it's the first thing that popped into my head, but to me, I'm seeing that as like, this is something she's used to doing. She's used to bringing this up in conversations, especially when it comes to defending herself. And then I said, you're not trying to recruit us, obviously, but you're here defending your MLM opportunity and you used your son's illness to do it. You did that. Take responsibility. Holy hell. And then she said, I'm leaving. Why be rude? So yeah, Amber really got up here and she's like, I needed pharmacy to keep me sane while my child had cancer. And when the live chat questioned her statement, she was just like, oh my, I would never do that. Yeah, about that. This interaction really turned the tides on the entire situation. Going from all of us being mad at Stephanie for her victim mentality to us setting our sights on Amber. Why? Because historically, when an MLM distributor has some kind of traumatic event, they will use that to their advantage in all ways they possibly can, including boosting themselves up in their MLM. And despite Amber getting pissed off that we would even suggest that she's done that, that's exactly what she did. So this entire situation went from the anti-MLM movement being critical of Stephanie and her behavior towards her downline and the behavior she exhibited when called out on it, to the anti-MLM movement exposing Stephanie's upline for being a monster who used her child's cancer to sell her shitty pharmacy makeup. All because she inserted herself into Stephanie's problem. She could not resist showing up to defend her cash cow and using her child's terrible illness to defend her MLM. Suddenly, Stephanie was basically off the hook. And I'll be honest, ever since Amber stuck her nose in business that didn't even involve her, Stephanie stayed off the hook. To my knowledge, Stephanie finally got the message and stopped responding to content that was critical about her, and she's been minding her own business ever since. If that's not the case, someone let me know, but from what I've seen, Stephanie has kept herself out of drama ever since all this happened, and good for her. It seems as if she learned the lesson that I was hoping she would learn. Amber, on the other hand, man, oh man, y'all thought Stephanie was bad? Well, you haven't met Amber. DeeCee and I did a live stream about Amber that's literally just hours and hours of us reacting to Amber's TikToks that she posted that fully prove how hard she used her son's cancer to benefit her in her MLM. I'll have all of that linked down below, but I'll just post a quick little highlight montage that I made of Amber's worst moments as a monster who profited from and exploited her child's cancer.
You are barely making it. You are struggling. You are living paycheck to paycheck. Let me help you. This long winter puffer jacket that is waterproof is on sale right now for $35. Sometimes you think you have to spend a lot for quality, and I'm here to tell you right now that you will be shocked. This is how I work. This is how I make money. I go online, I've been doing this for 7 years, and I do demonstrations. I show other women how to feel beautiful. I help women make money from home. Like, I put on makeup, and guess what? I get paid to do it. I get paid to do it. Guess what? That's how I feed my kid that has, you know, the C word. The company's called Pharmacy. Does a normal person need this much foundation? No. Guess what? I work from home.
So at the hospital with my son because he has to get chemo. He has sarcoma, E-wig. Oh, it's taking me 5 hours to do makeup. He's sleeping, he's got his chemo. And he does a nice little sleeve scrunchy thing. And look at the hem. The hem. And it's like that perfect length where like it's cropped, but it's not showing a little bit too much. I'm in better spirits when, I think I gotta clean the phone off. When Hunter gets, when Hunter gets his chemo. I hate that part. Guys, please say some prayers for my baby. This time is smooth. There we go, look at that. My 14-year-old son has cancer. Here is his update. I'm very blessed that I get to work from home. I've always worked from home for the past 7 years. Very blessed to be able to work from anywhere. I couldn't imagine anybody out there going through this and having to do this full-time job, and you for 9 months, what would I have done? What would I have done? I would have to quit. Whew. But if you want to see any more info or follow along the journey, please follow me. Also, I do have that folder with more of the content about him. Thank you guys for all your prayers.
By the way, she can't even pronounce her kid's diagnosis correctly. Now, I admit some medical diagnoses are objectively hard to pronounce, but this is a 5-letter word. It's Ewing sarcoma. Every single time she tries to pronounce it, she calls it Ewig.
Ewig. Ewig. Sarcoma, Ewig.
Ewig. It's Ewing. Ewing sarcoma. If you're gonna use your kid's cancer diagnosis to benefit yourself financially, can you at least know how to pronounce his condition? And she's the one who's been in medical centers probably having this phrase repeated to her over and over and over again, and she still can't grasp how to pronounce a 5-letter word. Now, when it was just DeeCee versus Amber and Stephanie, the girlies were going at DeeCee in full force. The moment I stepped in, however, it was crickets from them. Stephanie ended up blocking me, and I've never actually had any like legitimate interactions with her. And for a minute there, Amber kind of was like, okay, I guess this is a fight that I don't want to have. Well, that was until she saw clips of the live stream that DeeCee and I made about her. Amber showed her entire ass by making this weird rambling video standing in front of a screenshot of a comment made by a viewer on one of my videos about her. She refused to show the entire comment, but she insists this person was accusing her of lying about her kid having cancer. Me, knowing my audience, knew that no one in my audience would make such a horrific accusation. I found the comment that she showcased in her TikTok, and wow. I'm sorry I'm commenting so much, I just have so many thoughts, lol. 1, she absolutely saw someone like DeeCee who just exudes kindness and gentleness, not that you don't, you just also give off FU energy if people F around and find out with you, LMAO, true, and decided that she was someone she could bully and gaslight to push her narrative and her victim complex. And her upline Amber, just as nasty, not surprised that's her upline. 2, how can she claim she isn't trying to control anyone when she made it clear that if they don't do what you want and follow your whims, then they're more or less banished? 3, your outfit and look in this video are fire, thanks. 4, neither of them were right at all for it, but notice how Stephanie didn't mention that she brought up Casey's alleged drinking first. 5, and this is where the comment screenshot starts that she's standing in front of. Anyone who lies about cancer or uses it to their advantage is just gross in my opinion. Having lost my dad to cancer, and I know so many people who have dealt with or lost someone to cancer, I cannot imagine using that to try to garner sympathy and to try to make money. 6, directly after this, which isn't in the screenshot that she's showing. 6, I can't help but feel so upset for Amber's son. The idea of him going through chemo and being too afraid to take pain medication because of things she told him of her past sounds sounds awful. I absolutely agree that she did good with sharing her struggles with him and not hiding her past, but to have him so scared that he would only take liquid Tylenol is not great. Everyone reacts to chemo differently, of course, but the experiences I've witnessed showed it to be painful. My dad hardly ever showed me he was in pain my entire life, but chemo had him barely able to move. So Amber just got up here and lied for sympathy, and honestly, it was probably to convert that sympathy into sales from extremely naive people. It's no wonder she had to stand in front of the comment the entire time. But even that wasn't the end of Amber's crash out, because as I often do when I go on a live stream, I'll make a short or two from the best moments of that live stream and I'll post them on YouTube and Instagram and stuff like that. Amber saw these and she got back on her TikTok and she pressed that record button and decided to say that she was now a victim of DeeCee and I.
I need to warn you of something. There's these group of people that literally are capitalizing on people's journeys, their hardships that they have gone through, taking their kids and capitalizing by trying to ruin people's lives. They're pretty much taking content out of context because they don't like what certain people do to make money. I do network marketing. They are anti. They've tried it. They've both run a business and they did not succeed. I'm 8 years in. Now they are taking context. I don't know these people. I've never met these people a day in my life. Yes, I have a filter on because I've been upset. They were scrolling through TikTok and seen my downline having an argument, and they seen I was in the screen too and decided I was the lucky one. I was the lucky one that they were going to take little clips like the one I'm going to show you and twist the narrative to make bank.
She showed the video of DeeCee and I reacting to her own words, and she tried to be like, no, I didn't say that. I said the chemo looks awful.
Patches. He didn't want it down to the his scalp, and he just looked awful, like the chemo.
Oh my god!
Did you just say your kid looks awful?
Yeah, she did.
I'm
the chemo is awful. Let me just.
I know you are. I don't even
understand. You're gonna look your child in its beautiful little face, and you're gonna say he looks awful? You should be fucking ashamed of yourself, you piece of shit. I'm sorry. Like, you, dude. Fucking, like, I feel like I could cry right now. I'm trying to, like, not do. Like, that's so fucked up, dude.
Okay, so she wants to cry. I don't know if you have kids. I hope that this incident never happens to you. You want to cry because I did a story to my people and I was unloading. I was in pain. I was being real. I was being raw. I was telling truths. Something that people don't do. Taking my misery, you didn't get the whole context of any of that. And saying that I said that to my kid, I would never say that.
Oh my god, Amber, your exact words were, he looks awful. Do not try to gaslight us here. You showed the video. And also, yeah, the way that you have exploited your child's trauma and very serious diagnosis makes me want to cry. It makes me and thousands of others upset. Oh, and she also accused me of not being a mom.
The lie, Stephanie, is what is crazy. I don't think that girl is a mom, because how can you sit there and say that about somebody? I'm sure there are sick people like that out in the world, but if you were doing your research and not just picking certain things out of videos and assuming things, I mean, I guess that makes a better video for that person, you know?
I guess the 2 children that I carried for 9 months and pushed out of my cooter and have spent the past almost decade raising them, I guess they're just imaginary, right? They just don't exist. Actually, that kind of did turn into a funny little joke between my daughter and I. Sometimes I'll call her my imaginary daughter because Amber doesn't think that my whole ass 9-year-old child exists. But yeah, okay, Amber, I guess I'm not a mom. There's no way I could possibly be a mom because I called you a monster, which you objectively are. Anyway, I did make a final video calling her out on more bullshit, and she kind of crawled back into her sewer. I don't think that she has made any other content about DeeCee and I, unless I missed it. I don't know. I don't care. She's still making incredibly cringe content, many of them featuring her flat earth views. And oh yeah, she's still out here talking about her son's cancer while wearing a pharmacy shirt.
My son had to get his Like every 3 months he gets his cancer scans.
She has taken nothing from this except maybe a stronger victim mentality. But despite having nearly 20,000 followers on TikTok, she's lucky to break a few hundred views per video. She's clearly thriving, so yeah, Amberly Kubina is a mess, and while Stephanie's crash out was the catalyst to all of this, Amber's the reason this situation deserved this year's number 8 spot.
Fly over the ice wall.
7. Scentsy's Year of Mayhem. Ah, Scentsy, one of the more well-known MLMs out there. They sell scented wax cubes, wax warmers, and, well, now candles, which caused a lot of backlash, but we'll get to that. Scentsy has been through a lot this year, and it's embarrassing to see such a well-known and beloved brand in the world of MLM drop the ball so hard. We love to see it. Let's get into it. First, I'd like to send out a few shout-outs. If you want the most up-to-date news on Scentsy's decline in video format, Sam D's channel is the best place to find it. As an honorable mention, Julie Anderson also stays on top of Scentsy's shenanigans. I highly recommend that you subscribe to both of these creators because they're both simply fantastic. Also, there's a Facebook group called Scentsy Customer and Consultant Freedom of Speech page, and that helped me out a lot in this section as well. I got a lot of help from a mod named Wendy Irons, so thank you. Hilariously, one of the other people running this page named Deb used to be a Scentsy consultant. And when she started running this group, Scentsy suspended her account for violating their consultant agreement. In a separate situation this year, Scentsy also terminated another distributor for literally posting a meme in this Scentsy Freedom of Speech group. Yeah, apparently Scentsy will terminate you and withhold your pay if you post a meme they don't like. They'll call it disparagement. Like, yeah, okay, tell me you're vulnerable without actually saying you're vulnerable, Scentsy. Actually, according to a post made in the aforementioned Facebook group, Scentsy has been losing steam for quite a few years now, just like most other MLMs in the industry. Wendy Irons says that between the years of 2023 and 2024, Scentsy allegedly lost over 32,000 consultants worldwide, which is about 19% of their consultant base. So they were off to a good start this year. But where all the 2025 hullabaloo started is in January 2025, when Scentsy decided that they were going to announce some changes. First of all, they laid off 94 of their corporate employees in January, taking effect as of March 1st, 2025. Then again in April, they laid off another 116 corporate employees. They seem to be downsizing like mad. More significantly though, they decided that they were going to change their compensation plan. Scentsy CEO Dan Orchard went live to explain these changes. The introduction to this live stream is very long and drawn out, lots of inspirational BS and reassurance to their base of distributors that they have no intention to leave the MLM business model behind, but also explaining that the industry is suffering. Yeah, we know.
Even with our motto of contributing more than we take, our momentum has faltered. Those reasons are both out of our control, and some of them are within our control.
And in order to try to justify the changes he's about to announce, he shows us two pie charts. The first one shows that nearly 60% of their 154,000 consultants are placing personal orders for themselves every month. And this is proof of what the anti-MLM movement has always said. The distributors are the customers. And while yes, Scentsy does attract outside customers here and there, especially with their many collaborations with Disney and other widely known brands and characters, 60% of their consultant base placing their own orders every month is proof that even in Scentsy, an MLM that attracts more outside customers than most other MLMs, the distributors are the customers. The second pie chart shows that only 25% of their consultants are considered active every month. This means that 25% of their consultants are purchasing big enough orders every month to be considered active, meaning that they qualify for downline commissions. I mean, I suppose that they could be selling the required PV amount, but that definitely doesn't apply to a majority of active consultants, especially if we're to take the first graph I showed you at face value. This is made even more concerning by this line graph here, showing that since 2020, Scentsy's been on a steady decline in actual outside paying customers. This line graph shows a steep decline in the acquisition of new customers since 2020. Between people leaving in droves after they were manipulated into joining during the peak of COVID, the economy taking a dump, an affordability crisis, and oh yeah, the work and growth of the anti-MLM movement as a whole, I think we all know why this is happening. It's just really great to see our activism manifest in this way. They made some changes to certain discounts and deals that kind of pissed people off, but the part that really angered the distributor base was the increase in the required personal volume needed to remain active as a Scentsy distributor.
We are moving to 250 PRV as the required activity requirement. This is increasing from 200 PRV, and an important change in the efforts to start getting back to building momentum.
Now, this is where a lot of consultants are like, I'm out. I've seen many Facebook posts that I will put as I'm talking here, and even some reels and stories of people saying I was too hard to get the 200 PRV. There's no way I'm going to get 250 PRV to stay active. I'm leaving Scentsy. They are not happy about this.
This basically means that the distributors would have to either sell more, or what's more likely to happen, buy more per month if they want to be considered active. If distributors don't meet this monthly PV requirement, they don't qualify for downline commissions and bonuses, basically. And because of this change, it also changes the threshold that you have to meet as a consultant in any given year to avoid having your distributorship with Scentsy completely canceled. Scentsy also increased the PV threshold required to be eligible for their monthly sale award bonus from 2,000 to 2,500 PV per month. Another change is that they're basically cutting their consultants' personal sales commission if they aren't active.
So what we did is we made one other change. As of March 1st, Essential Consultant will now be a rank, meaning any consultant that is certified or above who is not active in a calendar month, meaning doesn't hit 250 PRV in a calendar month or more, they will be paid at a 20% commission for that month. For those that hit over or above 250 PRV in a calendar month who are certified or higher will earn 25% commissions.
It was basically like, hey consultants, like I know that you were promised that after selling 1,000 PV, you would be getting a commission of 25% forever, no matter what, but now you have to reach active status every month if you want to have that. And if you don't, we're taking away that 5%. Obviously, consultants were not happy about these changes. The main issue is that they were announcing these changes in mid-January, and they said that they would go into effect on March 1st. Well, according to their own consultant agreement, Scentsy is required to give at least 60 days notice before making major changes like this, and they didn't initially do that. Although they did end up pushing these changes back to April 1st after a major outcry. And that's where this video comes in. These people are Heidi and Orville Thompson, the owners and co-founders of Scentsy. They held the chairs of CEO and president for most of Scentsy's history, but they handed the reins over to Dan Orchard so that they could run off and do a Mormon mission trip for like 3 years. They were supposed to reassume their roles at the end of the mission trip, but they decided not to when they came back, which left Dan as the permanent CEO. Heidi and Orville are still involved with Scentsy on an executive corporate level. They're just not as public facing as they used to be. But for the first time since Heidi and Orville returned from their mission trip, they showed up on a live stream after the comp plan changes sparked outrage amongst their consultant base. And oh my god, this video is like an hour and a half long, but I'm gonna put together a highlight reel here to showcase the manipulation and victim mentality that these two are exhibiting, including Heidi crying multiple times.
It's really hard to please everybody, and trying is just a waste of time.
I'm gonna cry.
Sometimes people just don't have the capacity to love, and all they can do is hate.
Somebody sent an anonymous letter to our home addressed to me, very hateful, very, very rude, and obviously anonymous because they weren't gutsy enough or brave enough to say it to my face. They didn't like my wahoos on the end of month live, and I don't know, I don't
They were
remember.
rude about your mother.
Yeah, they even said stuff about my mother who was dead and how she was annoying.
Scentsy is always playing business chess. We're seeing moves 5 or 6 moves out. Now, if we explain to you all 5 of those moves, there are opponents that will then make an adjustment, and then that winning strategy no longer is a winning strategy because you're disclosing your hand. So we had to make a couple of changes that a lot of people are frustrated about. We're not going to explain to you all of the iterations of the future that we think are going to happen, but we've been doing this for a while. We've got a pretty good record.
I know several several, people in Scentsy right now who are struggling, who might even have terminal illnesses.
If you can't trust our ability to look into the future and see what's coming and make adjustments ahead of time, and those adjustments being made not to benefit us two, but to benefit consultants, then either you're not paying attention, you don't know history, or you're just choosing not to trust us. I don't think we've done anything that gives you reason not to trust us if you look back at what we've done over the last 20 years. The person that you should trust least is the one that says you can trust me. We changed the activity requirement from 200 PRV to 250 PRV. That's gonna be a little bit of a stretch, but if we don't stretch, we don't grow.
Very true.
And if you don't grow individually, then Scentsy doesn't grow as a whole. And if Scentsy doesn't grow as a whole, then we lose momentum. As we lose momentum, we lose community. As we lose community, the point of being in business and joining a business goes away. So we have to stretch you enough that you will find your edge and you will grow. If you take from Scentsy and you harm others because you defame or lie about, or whatever the case may be, then Scentsy has an obligation to make you stop. Well, I don't want to go there.
We see each one of your potentials, and I say that because what it has done for a lot of you, it has done for me.
It's not just about selling products.
It's not.
If it was, then I wouldn't be here.
Well, I wouldn't either.
Our processes, our products, our programs that we're teaching will help you make far more than $8 an hour. And if that's not what your experience, you need to engage in the training and the support that we have available so you can learn how to do that.
There's no way you would have, caught me on a live like this at all.
And even those of you who don't understand how life works and the only outlet you have is to trash on others that are trying to do a good thing. Even you, we appreciate your passion. Don't worry about the distractions.
Yeah, there's gonna be distractions everywhere. There's gonna be things that are said. Scentsy! Spirit! Scentsy! Spirit! Scentsy! Spirit!
And in response to this, high-ranking leaders in Scentsy were trying to market this to their downlines like this was something good. Gotta keep huffing that hopium. But many Scentsy consultants were angry for obvious reasons. Scentsy seems to think that their distributors are stupid. And to anyone with a functioning brain, nothing about this says this is a good change for all of us. It's the total disrespect that gets me. They just expect us to accept this as a good thing because change is positive and helps you grow. The fact that our upline is going along with this brainwash drivel is the icing on the cake. I busted my butt for the first 70 days for that 5% and tried recruiting downline. This change is not fair at all to those below director status. I'm completely discouraged now and tempted to quit sales and disappoint my loyal day one customers. This change is only the beginning of the end for Scentsy. Pure greed. Certainly doesn't motivate me, does the opposite. They're getting greedy. Hate to tell them, there are other options in the wax world. And as if Scentsy didn't have enough worries on its plate, on May 8th, 2025, a California class action lawsuit was filed against Scentsy. Now, a similar lawsuit has been seen pitted against other MLM companies in the past. It focuses on the accusation that even though these MLM companies consider their bottom line workers to be independent contractors, these people should actually be considered employees and are therefore entitled to employee benefits in the state of California. Guess what other well-known MLMs have been hit with this lawsuit? Rodan and Fields and Beachbody. And guess what happened to them after they got hit with this same lawsuit? Yeah, so this is some serious stuff here. The law firms involved in these cases appear to be Tycho and Zavare. I probably mispronounced that, and Clarkson Law Firm. And they have successfully contributed to the dismantling of two very well-known MLM companies. It seems as though their mission is to serve every MLM that operates in the state of California with a similar lawsuit, and maybe even starting a coalition of lawyers across the country to take this to a national level. Although with each state having its own unique labor laws, it makes it a little complicated. One piece of this lawsuit that is unique to Scentsy though is the whole cutting commissions by 5% thing that we heard Dan announce in January. The The lawsuit alleges that Scentsy breached its contract with its consultants when, without notice, it imposed these changes, robbing a large portion of its consultants of the 5% commission bonus that they had not only been promised to have for life after reaching that 1,000 PV, but that they had also grown accustomed to. And like I mentioned earlier, consultants were not given the contractually obligated 60 days notice that Scentsy needed to be able to implement these changes. The lawsuit's still active. I've been told that there's a mediation date coming up in January, and that should be interesting. The lawsuit did have a jurisdiction change, but other than that, as of right now, there's no resolution to this lawsuit, but we should get answers in the upcoming months, hopefully. In response to this lawsuit, though, Scentsy made some new changes in their consultant agreement, and these changes were forced upon the Scentsy consultants. They had to agree to these new terms in order to access their back office. You know, the back office that they need to have access to in order to do their job. These changes are significant and honestly kind of scary. If you just so happen to be here as a current Scentsy consultant, or if you know anyone who is still involved with Scentsy, obviously you need to know this, and here you are, you know it now. The people in your life who are also involved in Scentsy need to know this as well. The new agreement added an entire section equaling nearly 4 pages, all dedicated to literally signing your rights away. Yeah, go look for yourself. It's in section 6 of the consultant agreement called Mandatory Individual Arbitration Agreement and Class Action Waiver. In other words, if you agree to this, you waive your right to being able to join a class action lawsuit against Scentsy now or in the future, or a trial by jury in general. This includes this current ongoing class action lawsuit in California and any class action lawsuits brought against Scentsy in the future. Now, you can opt out of this mandatory agreement by emailing a specific email address, including specific information and specifically saying that you'd like to opt out of the agreement. However, what's stopping Scentsy from terminating you if you don't want to play by their rules? Basically nothing. Have they terminated anyone for sending that opt-out request yet? Not to my knowledge, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was used against a consultant in the future. In other news, it's important to note that new tariffs imposed in 2025 have affected Scentsy greatly, because from what I've come to understand, Scentsy manufactures their wax warmers in China. As I'm sure everyone on the planet knows by now, the tariffs placed upon China this year by our big beautiful president were astronomically high, which caused inflation to skyrocket. In response to this action by the Orange Man in the White House, Scentsy felt the need to raise their prices, as if their prices weren't high enough already. And the corporate team at Scentsy is always saying how they're dedicated to not changing things, including prices. So this situation was just another drop in the bucket of things that consultants would get mad at in 2025. Now for the stupidest part of this whole thing. Candles. Yeah, so Scentsy started selling candles in July 2025, and many Scentsy reps raised hell over this. But why? After all, it's just a candle. What's the big deal? I'll tell you what the big deal is. The big deal is that for all of Scentsy's existence, their goal has been to disrupt the candle industry. Their whole thing has always been, we're a safe alternative to candles. They literally did this by brainwashing their consultants into believing that candles are bad and unsafe and give you cancer. No, I'm dead serious, dude. Scentsy propaganda has always been the garbage I'm showing you on screen. Flame in house bad, burn house down, breathe in smoke, fire is hot, Scentsy no burn house down. So what changed Scentsy? This move makes no sense, and it basically disregards the past 20 years of everything Scentsy's products stood for. And now that they released a candle, Scentsy consultants just don't get it. The answer Heidi and Orville give for this decision is basically to attract the young people again, because apparently Scentsy is just an old people thing now. I'd hardly say that, but Heidi insists that young people love candles, and this is their way of trying to bring in more customers.
So we've talked to many of you with older children about your preference for fragrance, and to our own children, and they buy candles, and their friends buy candles. Buying candles is not an issue, and making it an issue makes us seem old and out of touch.
I'm gonna insert a clip from Sam D's video here, because since she used to be a Scentsy consultant, I think she can explain why this is such a big deal in a better way than I ever could.
I talked to multiple other former Scentsy consultants after this announcement came out, and not one of us had this on our bingo card. None of us were like, yeah, I saw that coming. No, No, never in a million years did I think that Scentsy was gonna come out with a candle with wicks, because that is throwing their entire vision for the company away, in my opinion. That is the product they started on. That is their core. Their core is a safe alternative to fragrance. You just got rid of that. And I feel like that is very telling. That is a huge sign of things to come. If they're willing to get rid of being wickless and being the safe alternative, what are they willing to do to the consultants that got them to this point to begin with?
Well, apparently the candles didn't pop off the way Scentsy hoped they would. According to multiple Scentsy consultants on social media, Scentsy allegedly sold around 40,000 candles during their launch month in September. That might sound like a lot, but considering Scentsy's size, it's really not that impressive at all. One of the biggest signs that they aren't doing too well is the fact that as I'm scripting this video, Scentsy is currently offering free candles to anyone who places an order of $175 or more. Sounds like they're trying to get rid of some stock. So that's kind of all we know of what Scentsy did that caused a stir this year, but I want to highlight a few red flags and tell you what I think this means for the future of the company. From what I can see, Scentsy never really held flash sales. They're actually pretty uncommon in MLM. However, I'm told that this year, Scentsy has been holding tons of flash sales, which is not very characteristic of them. Allegedly, Dan Orchard stocked up on too much inventory this year, and Heidi and Orville are trying to push him to get rid of it. They also seem to be really pushing their subscription service, Scentsy Club, by incentivizing their customers and distributors to join. For example, they just came out with a scented nebulizer that's exclusive to Scentsy Club members. It's $80, and yes, you must be on Scentsy's auto shipment subscription in order to purchase it. And of course, there's a ton of hype around it because it's probably going to be the next new scent system that they're going to be pushing in the future. They also opened their vault, meaning that they're re-releasing old discontinued fragrances, but again, the only way to access these scents is to be a Scentsy Club member. Another thing Scentsy did that I've been told that they've never done before is offer a $10 off coupon for anyone who signs up for Scentsy's newsletter. Also, Scentsy has this event called the World Tour that they do every year, and usually it's in-person events that are held in multiple locations. And this year, Heidi and Orville popped on to let us know that Scentsy World Tour would be making some changes.
One of the things at the beginning of the year that we have is leadership.
Or Retreat for Leaders is the official name.
Yeah.
We always call it leadership.
And then World Tour.
Yes. Now these events have been things we've done for a very long time. And the question is, just because we've done it in the past, does that mean these are things we should continue to do?
Yeah.
It became clear that extra travel, money, and time just isn't feasible for a lot of families right now. And we went back and said, wait, during COVID, we had great virtual events that really made an impact.
So we're going to pivot to reach as many of you as possible. And so Retreat for Leaders and World Tour 2026 will be free live stream in January. And we know that this, for many of you, because you haven't registered, will relieve some stress. If you were feeling stressed out about which event to attend and there's so many to attend and it's not looking good for me this year. So hopefully we just relieve some stress for you.
Without the expensive travel, without the time in travel, it will allow you to focus just on the training, just on the motivation.
Yeah, you heard them. In order to cater to the affordability crisis, Scentsy is, in Heidi's own words, pivoting to make Scentsy World Tour a free virtual event, as well as leadership retreats, which makes zero sense. Like, the point of being on a retreat is to go somewhere? Like, what kind of leadership retreat is virtual? That's stupid. It doesn't feel like much of a reward at that point. But anyway, they try to frame this as like, oh, we're doing this to help you because we know that you can't afford to travel right now. Please. Now, why would they be doing this? And I mean, not just the handful of things that I just got done mentioning, but like all of it. Everything I've discussed today in general. Why is Scentsy making all of these strange decisions and acting so out of character in the eyes of Scentsy distributors who claim to know know the company. You wanna know why I think it is? Affiliate. I think Scentsy is preparing to go affiliate. Now this is just speculation and my own personal opinion, however, it's all adding up. Let's go through everything I just mentioned. The flash sales are an opportunity for Scentsy consultants to advertise a sale to their followers, their friends, and their family, which can turn more people into new Scentsy customers. They're creating multiple incentives to join their subscription service, which everything is a subscription these days, right? The $10 coupon is a way to get new customer information. You literally have to give Scentsy your personal information and agree to sign up for their marketing emails in order to get it. The whole candle thing, they literally said that they are trying to bring in new, younger customers. And the thing about younger generations is that they're more well aware of the dangers of multi-level marketing than any of the generations that ever came before them. And they are economically literate enough to know how to vote with their dollar, essentially. It's basically the most power that we have as consumers. If you want to enact change, a good way to do it is to boycott companies that you don't align with and give money to the ones that you do align with. And the younger generations know that and they do that. Also, here's one other thing I haven't mentioned yet. Scentsy has a 100% retail display at Disney's Epcot Center. I think this is a perfect example of Scentsy testing the retail waters to see how much they can sell without a consultant base. Then, of course, making events virtual, like that's a cost-saving measure, let's be honest with ourselves. They can sit up there all day long and claim that they're doing it to help their consultants out of the goodness of their heart, but we all know that's not why they're doing it. Plus, now they no longer have to book in-person event venues, which those require a deposit, so it's like harder to justify canceling those events. Now it's significantly easier to cancel. If it's just a virtual event and they decide to do away with their consultants, it's just, you know, a lot easier to just be like, oh, never mind, we're not doing this anymore because there's no more consultants. I think that's exactly what their plans are. In my opinion, I think Scentsy is so desperate to hang on to existing customers and gather new customer data because they plan to take the plunge into affiliate marketing, just like most other MLMs are doing. I don't want to get anyone's hopes up, but I personally believe that all of these seemingly bizarre decisions that Scentsy has made this year are leading up to a huge rug pull in 2026. That's ultimately why these shenanigans wound up in our number 7 spot this year. And if Scentsy plays its cards right, or wrong, whichever way you look at it, maybe we'll see its messy downfall play out in next year's top fails of 2026. Number 6, Arieyl gets exposed. In the spring of 2025, we experienced a resurfacing of an MLM that's pretty much been under the radar since its launch. Arieyl is an MLM that started off selling CBD products and expanded into the world of wellness and makeup that they were able to start selling because they royally screwed over one of their distributors. And all of this came to light because of a few whistleblowers. We love whistleblowers in the anti-MLM movement. So for our number 6 spot, I'd like to feature all of the allegations thrown at Arieyl in the year of 2025. In mid-2025, Amanda Brunson showed up on Facebook accusing Arieyl of stealing her makeup company, Rain Beauty, out from under her, and she wanted it back. Now, Amanda's no stranger to controversy. I actually have a long, deep dive about her because she was the owner of 3 different MLMs and had multiple scam allegations against her. So when she popped up in an Arieyl controversy as the protagonist, I didn't know what to do with myself. But anyway, the story basically goes that Amanda didn't want to be the CEO of her own MLM anymore, so she basically shut down the operations that she had going at the time, and then she joined Arieyl as a distributor. The CEOs of Arieyl, Kristen and Travis Butler, were made aware that Amanda had just closed down her beauty brand, Rain Beauty, but she had the intention to start it back up eventually. Since Rain sold makeup and Arieyl sold CBD products, there wasn't any competition between the 2 brands, so the Butlers initially told Amanda that it would be totally fine for her to reopen her business while remaining an Arieyl distributor. Amanda was like, okay, cool, I would like to join Arieyl as a direct-to-corporate downline, please. And the Butlers were like, oh, you don't want an upline? You want to be the final Mega Boss Ultra upline? Okay, done. And they supposedly agreed to permanently make her paid as rank the 2nd highest in the company, Black Diamond. And with all of these agreements supposedly in place, Amanda hopped on board. Over time, she built up a team and she seemed to be doing decently for herself, but behind the scenes, the Butlers did not appear to be keeping their promises they initially made towards Amanda. The Butlers have a daughter named Jordan, and they decided that she needed to be Amanda's upline, even though they allegedly agreed that Amanda would be direct to corporate. Amanda just kind of dealt with this and went along with it. But the moment she decided she'd be doing a grand reopening of her brand Rain Beauty, things began to shift.
When I shut down the jewelry portion of my company, I told them Rain Beauty is going to go on a hiatus while I figure my life out for a second. And then when I relaunch it, I'll have an affiliate program. Well, I didn't realize I would have so many people asking for that so quickly. And when Kristen and Travis saw that, that's when they reached out to me.
According to Amanda, the Butlers presented the idea to Amanda like, hey, what if you sold Rain Beauty to us and we start selling the products through Arieyl and you get a kickback on everything we sell?
It was basically like, we know that you're doing this affiliate program, and because of that, we want to have a conversation with you about bringing Rain Beauty onto the Arieyl platform.
According to other whistleblowers who were close to Kristen and Travis, though, their intentions were, allegedly, she's either going to give us her company or we're terminating her. Yet another promise the Butlers allegedly made to Amanda but did not keep. Amanda wasn't aware of that until later on, but since she was basically on board with the Butlers immediately, they didn't have to threaten her with termination.
I have heard from leaders in the last week that there were conversations that took place of like, yeah, if she doesn't give us this platform or this brand, we're gonna terminate her. The way that conversation went with me was we just wanted to make sure there weren't any compliance issues. That's how that conversation went.
Anyway, if you think the Butlers at least had enough respect for Amanda to offer her a decent deal, you'd be wrong. Amanda was in a very vulnerable time in her life, and the Butlers saw that, recognized it, and decided to take advantage of it. So they somehow were able to convince Amanda to sign Rain Beauty over to Arieyl for $1 freaking dollar and a 5% royalty on every product sold. I'm no business lady, but that has to be the worst deal I've ever heard. Amanda should have known better, of course. But at the end of the day, Amanda agreed to this. So when she went live to complain and be like, they stole my company, help me take my company back, wah! It's just a dishonest way to put the entire situation. This was, unfortunately for Amanda, a legitimate transaction that she knowingly and willingly went through with. As far as I see it, it's on her. She lost her company to 2 slimy MLM CEOs, and she just sat there and let it happen. Meanwhile, Amanda still had duties within Rain. She was still the one who was working with the manufacturers and placing orders with the factory to keep up with business demand. But Amanda said that this was really hard to do because, well, the Butlers weren't sending her any of the sales reports that they were supposedly contractually obligated to send her. So Amanda didn't know what products were selling and what needed to be restocked. After months of complaining and trying to get these reports from Arieyl, she finally started getting them, but she realized that there were some discrepancies.
Once I started getting reports, which has just been since February, I started noticing discrepancies in those, just being honest. I also, when I earned the cruise last year, I had like 2,500 points on my cruise that wasn't there. And I had to dig and prove that myself. So I've already known the reporting is maybe not the best forte over there.
Amanda then started getting mad because the Butlers added Rain Beauty products to Ariel's TikTok shop. Amanda was like, wow, I could have done that. Okay, well, why didn't you? Why did you decide to sell your entire life's work to 2 random people for $1 if you could have just done all this yourself? And remember how Amanda was supposed to receive her commission checks paid as Black Diamond? Well, apparently that wasn't happening either, according to some screenshots Amanda released. However, she did confirm that she was receiving the $2,000 monthly lifestyle bonus that all Black Diamonds get. So my thought here is that maybe her paid as rank wasn't reflected in her back office, but if she was still getting the rank bonuses that she was entitled to, I'm not sure what the problem is, aside from the ranks appearing wrong on a report. As long as she received the pay they agreed to, I don't see why it matters in the back office, but anyway. There were also a few instances where Amanda says that Rain Beauty was temporarily taken down off of Ariel's website for this reason or that reason, and because of that, she believes that she's entitled to buy Rain Beauty back from Arieyl for the same dollar that they bought it for, because that's what the contract says. However, the contract doesn't specify a length of time that the sales would have to cease in order to be considered a complete cessation of sales. And as far as I see it, a temporary removal from the website while the product could still be purchased on TikTok Shop doesn't equate to an actual cessation of sales at all. In Amanda's brain, it does. I don't see it that way, but I'm also not a lawyer, so. But this also brings up the question, did Amanda even look this contract over with a lawyer? Because I feel like if she did, they would have at least caught that part and probably been able to get her a better deal out of this sale. In other news, drama was brewing between Amanda and her upline, aka the CEO's daughter, Jordan, because Jordan was allegedly always running around claiming that she made it to the Black Diamond rank all by herself. But we know that the Butlers placed Amanda under Jordan instead of the direct to corporate role that they had agreed on. When Amanda told people that she had been placed under Jordan, Jordan got pissed at Amanda for essentially exposing her. Amanda also exposed that she witnessed other teams being strategically placed under Jordan, but she also says that the Butlers gave her some team members that she never recruited herself to. And since Amanda was technically Jordan's downline, that volume contributed even more to Jordan. And quite frankly, I don't know how anyone would believe that Jordan was a self-made Black Diamond anyway, since she's literally the CEO's daughter, but I digress. Well, at this point, Amanda decided that she had had enough of Ariel's shenanigans and she resigned from the company in May 2025. The moment she did that, Kristen and Travis Butler went live in their official Ariel training Facebook group, you know, where they're supposed to give corporate updates and like announce things and all that. Well, the Butlers aren't the classiest people in the world, so they decided it would be appropriate to live stream all about this drama for all of their distributors to see.
Or any sort of thing that they can do to try to tear us apart and try to plant seeds of doubt in your guys' heads about who we are and what type of people we are. And I just really hope that you guys don't believe that. This is who we are. And
I ain't gonna lie, I shed some tears over this.
I just want to address some of the things that are happening like right now today, because they're literally flat out lies.
You guys know that we've spoken with some of the leaders one-on-one when situations arise. This is one we can't handle on our own. You know, this is one that we're gonna have to navigate as a community together, because they're not coming after just our livelihood, they're coming after your livelihood.
I got an email saying from the founder of Rain Beauty that basically she was resigning and that she wanted Rain Beauty back, and that we had breached our contract with her. And I honestly didn't even read it fully. I just briefly looked at it, and I was like, this is laughable. Like, what you're saying we breached is not even truth.
I don't think I need to say this, but this is extremely unprofessional. The CEOs of a company literally went live to talk shit about an ex-distributor and ex-business partner, and they tried to play the victim in an attempt to weaponize their base of distributors against Amanda. They are honestly some of the nastiest people I've ever seen in MLM, and that's saying a lot because I've seen a lot of nasty things go down in the industry. This is, yeah, bleh. Kristen and Travis Butler are major slime balls in my opinion. The Amanda hate campaign went on for a while, with the Butlers essentially trying to turn Amanda into a suppressive person. It's very cult-like, very Scientology of them. But the Butlers continued to try to slander Amanda to their base. They said she never expressed any frustration to them, even though Amanda shows screenshots proving that she did. They tried to paint her out to be some kind of alcoholic who misbehaved on stage at their company events, even though Amanda produced the video of said event where it's pretty clear that she's acting normal. The whole Rain Beauty situation isn't the only thing Amanda decided to expose in all of this, though. She also claimed that Ariel's #1 selling product, a weight loss supplement that they have cringe-tacularly named Oh Take My Pick, like Ozempic, get it? Anyway, Amanda claimed that it had some serious defects, causing the capsules to quote-unquote explode.
The capsules were exploding.
Yeah, there was
Let me just say
there might have
that.
been a crack in a couple
Yes,
here and there.
if you got a recent order, you might have noticed there was a couple in there that were like that. And so to prevent too much loss, basically they were just losing way too many capsules. And I posted a video on my story of them out right there. They're literally hand sorting them, taking out the ones that exploded. That's what's slowing things down a lot. But there's definitely a defect in these capsules. So they halted until they get the new capsules, which they're supposed to have today.
Notice that the term explode was used by Kristen herself. So apparently, Arieyl distributors heard their CEO use that term, they adopted it for themselves and started spreading the word that, hey, there's some manufacturing issue causing these capsules to explode, which then caused Travis to go on a rampage and start yelling at people for using the term explode, even though that term came from them in the first place.
And I also want to clarify something because some people had said something about like the capsules were exploding and that's the reason why they weren't being manufactured. That is not true. They had a bad box. Now here's what you have to understand is when we get shipments of the capsules in, you're talking millions of capsules. But if the box that they came in is damaged, we cannot manufacture with those pills. That is what we were talking about as far as damaged capsules. The damage was done before the lab made anything out of those capsules. But they can't make capsules that would be considered contaminated because the boxing and the shipping that was done with it had damage to it. So I wanted to clarify that as well because there was misinformation that was shared that was not accurate nor true. So I want to... The capsules are not exploding. Yeah.
Anyway, this wouldn't even be a huge deal, and we wouldn't even be talking about it if not for this next part that Amanda exposed. She shared a voice note that she was sent regarding this manufacturer issue, and it's revealed that in this manufacturing plant, the same machine that they use to manufacture Oh Take My Pick is also used to manufacture capsules of Kratom for a different company.
So obviously don't tell nobody this because now we're hearing word that Nicole is telling people to expect their capsules to come busted. Kristen and Travis found out that the lab was using the purple cap machine to make Kratom capsules because they had a higher percentage they could get paid on them, having to break apart the machine, clean it, to then run hours. Travis literally told them that he was like gonna blow the lab up. Like, he was gonna go savage. They're trying to rectify the situation, the lab is, because they don't want to lose us. But Kristen and Travis said, you know, on the backside, they're gonna be working with another lab to see how their production is. This lab has their own place just for our capsules. So she got really nasty with our lab.
Kratom is an herbal supplement that produces both stimulant effects as well as psychotic symptoms, resulting in possible addiction to the substance. Now, obviously, this is very concerning to learn that the same lab you use also packages addictive and potentially dangerous substances. So it's good that the butlers learned about this and tried to rectify it instead of just being like, oh, well, you know. But, hey, Travis, was it really necessary to threaten to blow up the lab? Oh my God, talk about a drama queen, dear Lord. Amanda also exposed posts made to the official Arieyl Facebook group of Travis whining about being cyberbullied like a big giant man baby. Another issue that was spoken about in Amanda's live streams was the fact that some third-party lab testing was done on some discontinued Arieyl products, and they probably don't sell those products anymore because of this situation.
Allegedly.
These products were called Crimson Wave and Head in the Clouds. They were two full-spectrum hemp gummies. In full-spectrum hemp products like this, it should be expected that there's going to be a very small amount of THC found in them. They have to remain under the federally legal limit, which is less than 0.3% THC in dry weight. Otherwise, they're illegal to be sold in many US states. The possibility of THC being found in any product should be very blatantly communicated to the consumer. Since Arieyl did not communicate this on their marketing materials for these specific products, a lot of people believed that it was not only safe enough for them to take, but to also give to their own minor children.
I had people that came on board with me that have been with me for years, that had their husband was a police officer, had someone whose daughter was a pro athlete. These people need to know if they're going to fail a drug test. They need to know what they're putting in their body. Not everybody wants to take Delta 8. Not everybody wants to even take CBD. But people need to know, like, there are careers that are on the line. I gave my 16-year-old daughter Crimson Wave. I actually asked this in our leadership chat because I was on my way back from my mom's funeral, and my daughter and I were both shared the same week of our cycle. Imagine that. And she's like, I'm cramping so bad, I need to stop. And so I stop and I share a crimson gummy with her. I'm in the car behind them. And 2 miles down the road, I'm like, my legs are jello. This is my personal experience, okay? I had no idea of this information at that time. And coming to find out, there were ingredients in there that weren't listed. Now they don't sell either one of these products anymore. Imagine that. But I literally asked in the group, like, is it okay that I gave this to my daughter? Because literally 2 miles down the road, my legs were jello. If you are still with Arieyl and this doesn't alarm you, then you might want to just say a huge prayer before you go to bed that you'll wake up on the right side of the bed tomorrow. And if you can go to sleep at night knowing that there's products out there that could be in the medicine cabinet or on a shelf of a friend or family member of yours that could fail a drug test tomorrow, if they're not made aware of this, then you are definitely the problem.
So after multiple distributors reported that they were feeling some psychoactive effects after taking these products, someone sent the products to be tested at a lab, and what do you know? The lab results showed that these 2 products supposedly contained both Delta-8 and Delta-9 THC, despite it allegedly not being disclosed to the customer. Delta-8 and 9 THC is illegal in multiple US states, making these 2 products illegal to sell to a good chunk of their consumer base. Now, this part seems to be all alleged, but according to another Arieyl whistleblower named Emily these 2 products actually came out after another discontinued Arieyl product called Cloud 8 Delta 8 Gummies was pulled from Ariel's product line because of its issues of legality. In order to get around this, Emily claims that Travis released both Crimson Wave and Head in the Clouds, and specifically made sure not to disclose that there was Delta 8 and 9 THC in either product, so they'd be able to market and sell those products in all 50 states, despite how illegal it was to distribute said products to a lot of their consumer base. So to recap, Arieyl had allegedly knowingly formulated products that contained Delta-8 and Delta-9 THC, purposely did not disclose that these products contained these substances, encouraged their distributors to promote and sell these products in all 50 states without their knowledge of their true ingredients, and knowingly sold and shipped these products countrywide. If this is true, this is a major issue, not just because of legality, but it also calls into question the ethics of Arieyl and the butlers and the products they sell. Again, these specific products have been discontinued, so it doesn't appear to be a current threat to any existing Arieyl products today. However, if they've allegedly done this before, consumers should know about it, because there's obviously a chance that they could still be doing it today and we wouldn't know, in my opinion. But did you think that's all that came out about Arieyl this year? Because you'd be wrong, there's more. As Amanda continued to do live stream after live stream, exposing what she knew about the truth behind Arieyl, other ex-distributors decided to jump on these live streams with her. One woman who went on Amanda's live stream to tell her story was this chick named Kristen Gonzalez, and she claims that the butlers had stolen intellectual property from her as well. Kristen had her own small business, a food truck that she called Brugie. She had opened it after already being an Arieyl distributor. She even infused some of her drinks with Arieyl products, which seems a little ethically off, but whatever. Anyway, eventually Kristen decided to sever ties with Arieyl because she felt like the company was trashy and she didn't align with it anymore. Kristen and Travis didn't like this, so they ended up sending her a strongly worded message, followed by the most petty cease and desist letter I've ever seen.
So I leave. I let my people know. I'm like, I just want everyone to know I'm not gonna be with this company anymore. I am moving on, but if you want to stay, great, go ahead. I will point you in the direction of someone who can help you. I don't want to take that away from you. I just no longer will be there. Well, someone was in that chat, my previous upline, and took a picture and sent it to the CEO. And so then I got this message back and I'm like, well, let me tell you the whole thing. So I showed her all of the message, how I wasn't taking people. I was like, I'm letting them know they can go meet with someone else, but I'm moving on. Like, these are my friends from high school. These are my friends from a previous company before this, whatever. So then I get a little nice letter in the mail.
No, this envelope literally sent me over the edge, because I'm like, okay, you're trying to send somebody a cease and desist, and this is the bullshit that they get in the mail. Tell me what attorney is gonna send a pink envelope that says, hello, I'm what you've been waiting for. And the petty that is behind the pink envelope is wild. I'm like, when you sent me this photo, I was like, you're actually joking.
I didn't even post like bad things. I didn't go cross recruit. No, like I didn't want anything to do with it. I was wanting to move on with my life, like peacefully leave. And it wasn't so peaceful.
Anyway, after Kristen left, Arieyl sneakily released a new product called Brugie. It was spelled slightly different from Kristen's Brugie food truck, but come on, we cannot call this a coincidence. Even the logos are fairly similar. Given the track record of Kristen and Travis, this should not surprise anyone. But it gets even more savage because allegedly Kristen and Travis were spreading lies about Kristen leaving Arieyl to cover their own asses so no one would question their subsequent release of their Brugie. Amanda finds out that the butlers had been lying to her about this entire situation in real time.
Okay, so let me just clarify this because I did not know this. You left because of other things and then they claimed the Brugie brand?
Amanda, I left in August of 2023. They launched Brugie in January of 2024. When I saw that they launched Brugie in January, I was like, are you freaking kidding me? And then I started hearing all the stories of like, oh, well, we gave her an opportunity to formulate it, but she decided to quit instead. I'm like, the only time I heard something was when I was on the phone on that conversation with the previous upline and I was asking her these questions. She's like, well, we're coming out with a mushroom coffee. Like a fast, like we're coming out with mushroom coffee. Like you just have to say there's a mushroom coffee. I'm like, I don't give a shit if there's mushroom coffee. I don't care about any of that right now because you have done this to me. You have there's no future here. I've worked extremely hard for 3 years and nothing is going anywhere.
And in classic Arieyl fashion, they started using social media to troll Kristen after they got their trademark approved for their Brugie. She also claims she lost her faith in sweet baby Jeebus throughout her time in Arieyl.
I lost my faith in Jesus Christ. That's what was hard. I questioned him and I was like, yeah, who is this almighty God? Like some narcissist who think we should worship him? Like, why are we even worshiping the Lord? Thoughts in my brain that I'm like, I would have never thought that if I felt like I wasn't being fed other information. I'm being someone I don't want to be.
Another fascinating bit of information that Kristen shared is how she found out that during her time in the company, there were only 4 entire people making more than $5,000 a month at Arieyl. And that is horrible and honestly embarrassing for any MLM to have to admit.
There was one thing told to me. Okay, so I'm on a phone call and I'm like, listen, these are the things I'm concerned about. And this is what I really need to know, what's happening. Number 1, can you please tell me how many of your personals are making $5,000 or more a month? I asked the previous upline. She named a few. And I'm like, okay, but of your personals, who? 1, right?
In the company,
the other
girl. You just said the whole fucking company. You ain't got to even talk about personals. You could say everybody.
Well, then that was my next question. I'm like, okay, well, who in the whole company is making $5,000 or more? And there was 4, not including myself at this point. And I'm like, well, we're 3 years old. There's a problem with that. And being in network marketing already for 7 years, I'm like, that's not good. If you can't make more than 5,000, a good chunk of people making more than 5,000 a month after 3 years, this isn't stable.
20% of the companies should have been making that. Yes.
In the same live stream, Amanda shares that behind the scenes, Travis and Kristen Butler were basically being authoritarian dictators trying to control who was allowed to talk to who. And they did this by implementing a ban on sideline chats, basically meaning you can't talk to other distributors in the organization if they're not your upline.
So obviously you know that you have requirements to be in a leadership chat every month or whatever. Well, this kind of goes with what we were talking about the other day too, and it kind of goes right here. But this is what they put in the group chat now. And it says, we'll be asking this chat to be closed down very soon. Grab your photos and info before it's gone. We're launching a new Telegram channel, which never happened, for everyone to stay up to date. Chats with sidelines is not permitted unless specifically approved by corporate compliance to protect the integrity of the field and leadership. So I bring that up just because when someone like Kristen or myself is going through something or feeling down, they literally prohibited us talking to each other.
How can you control that? Like, you don't own me, you don't control me. I am a person, a human being, and I have the right to talk to whoever I want to talk to.
I know this has been a lot, and I'm so ready to wrap this segment up, but just so you know, there is more to this that I couldn't fit in here. Another whistleblower named Jen Maruck also spoke out against Arieyl, accusing the butlers and other distributors of basically just being catty high school bitches. I have a whole video that covers Jen's accusations, and I'll have that link down below if you want more on the Arieyl Exposed saga. In other embarrassing 2025 news, a video leaked of Travis, the CEO, forcefully grabbing a distributor and twerking with her at an official Arieyl event. I've said it once, and I'll say it again, Arieyl is by far the trashiest MLM company out there right now. But let's summarize my thoughts on all this. I personally believe that, unfortunately, Rain Beauty does legally belong to the butlers. In the videos I showed you today, Amanda shows sources to support her claims. However, I don't think her claims add up to much. We'll see what the courts say because, oh yeah, that's right, after all this, Arieyl sued Amanda and Rain Beauty somehow? That doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand why they would sue a company that they themselves supposedly own. They also added most of the people who joined Amanda on her live streams to that lawsuit as well, which are all these other names listed as defendants. The butlers are basically suing for alleged contractual breaches, defamation, and they want a restraining order against all of these people who have spoken out against the company. That lawsuit was filed in June 2025, and to my knowledge, there aren't really any updates on it as of now. I reached out to Jen Maruck to see if she had any other inside details about the lawsuit. She said the lawsuit's still open and hasn't gone anywhere because here's something else that came out this year. Allegedly, the butlers haven't been paying their taxes, and they got hit with a $600,000 tax bill from 2021. So now the butlers are allegedly scrambling for money so hard to the point where they cut their corporate hours down from 5 days a week to 3, and they also turned their office into what Jen says is a half-assed boutique, where Kristen and Travis are desperately liquidating their own valuables, including Kristen's own grandmother's belongings, and oh my god, you know this ugly-ass teal Cybertruck belongs to one of the butlers. As always, if anything interesting comes of this lawsuit, I'll keep you posted. With the rate things are going, I'd assume that the butlers will end up dropping the lawsuit because they can't afford it anymore thanks to their alleged tax bill. They have to be able to provide documents to the court that prove they've lost business and money directly because of this expose, and they have yet to do so. Probably because it's something they can't actually prove. But yeah, I think it's obvious why this situation deserved a spot on this year's top fails list because, wow, a lot of accusations were unearthed this year that confirm what we already know. MLMs are shady, Travis and Kristen Butler are trashy, and I don't see this company lasting in the world of network marketing for much longer. Number 5, bomb party detonates. You guys are gonna have to hang in there with me on this one. This is gonna be another long section because so much has gone down in the world of boiled jewelry this year. Bomb Party has had plenty of reps questioning their status as a distributor with the company for a while now, but after Sunnee D was terminated, the company began a severe decline into madness. Sunnee was one of Bomb Party's top 10 sellers, so basically everyone knew who she was. Some even had some very parasocial relationships with her, making fan videos of her on TikTok, which I find pretty bizarre to do for an MLM rep. Like, who would take the time to make something like this? Her termination was a catalyst for a mass exodus. When distributors heard the news of her termination, many of them became disgruntled and frustrated, which snowballed into a complete downward spiral that threatens the viability of Bomb Party for the foreseeable future. There are a lot of reasons for Bomb Party's implosion, so let's talk about all the main points. First, we'll stay on the topic of Sunnee D right now since we're already here. First of all, if you were to ask why so many people are leaving, many Bomb Party leaders will say it's because they're all essentially lemmings who like to play follow the leader.
Listen, reps quit for a multitude of reasons, but what I will touch base on is this increase in follow the leader or the grass is greener on the other side mentality, because it's dangerous.
This accusation is just BP leaders huffing copium, of course. Here are some comments that I found left by disgruntled reps who decided to leave the company because of the Sunnee D situation. This person, Sarah, said, believing emails that came from some jealous rep and then firing one of your most loved reps is gonna cost you a lot of business. Most know who the rep was that turned on Sunnee. No one was selling to D-stashers, and if they were, so what? Who are you to tell people what to do with their items after you purchase them? Who cares as long as your company gets its money? You have and will continue to lose a lot of customers over this. BP used to be fun, but now it's like a G-damn cult. Reps are expected to follow these cult-like rules now, and it's ridiculous. You have no right to tell customers what they can do with their products after purchasing. Such gross behavior. Another comment said, Why are you letting people go for supposedly selling to D-stashers? How would they even vet who potential customers are? Also, isn't it their inventory? They purchased it. However, Bomb Party started receiving a lot of backlash for their decision to terminate Sunnee for a different reason. From what I have seen, most reps who quit because of the Sunnee D termination cite the company's hypocrisy in their decision to suspend her in the first place. As I mentioned in the section where we talked about Sunnee, she was originally suspended for shaking boxes and selling to D-stashers. But those who made the choice to leave over this said, well, hey, Sunnee was a top 10 seller of yours. She made you a ton of money. You terminated her. But meanwhile, it's totally okay that we have found multiple instances of other distributors actually weighing the boxes on stream. The reason this is against the rules is basically the same reason why you're not allowed to shake boxes. It ruins the surprise. The point was, with Sunnee D anyway, that she was doing it to try to prevent her customers from receiving duplicates. Same thing with weighing them. As a matter of fact, one upline actually made a spreadsheet of the Halloween bracelets, or stacks as they're called in BP, complete with the weights of each item by both grams and ounces. By weighing each package before opening, you're able to better predict the jewelry inside, hence the whole ruining of the surprise. This has always been a huge no-no in Bomb Party, but from what I can see, despite this list and these videos being posted all over the internet, Bomb Party has not suspended those reps. So why were they being so aggressive towards Sunnee D? The good news is this hypocrisy hasn't gone unnoticed by those affiliated with Bomb Party. Here's a familiar face. Our dear Winnie, aka Face Candy Jenna. Last year, her termination from Bomb Party made our top 10 list of fails, so definitely go watch that if you want the backstory on Winnie. But long story short, the company royally screwed her over, so she decided to leave. But she still does Bomb Party lives dressed up as Winnie to this day, and she's able to do this by buying out inventory from people who are leaving Bomb Party or who maybe have to unload some inventory. So she's actually being very helpful towards ex-distributors and helping them get back some of the money that they lost to inventory hoarding that inevitably happens in MLMs like Bomb Party. Also, she's spent the past year taking petty jabs at the CEO of Bomb Party, Lillian, and it's pretty hilarious. But anyway, during a recent live stream, Jenna went off about the hypocrisy that she was witnessing.
Rep saying, we don't weigh the stacks ever. And then her mother said, someone who was on her mother's team said, oh yes you do, here's a list to prove it. Craziness, craziness. Winnie has a video that was sent to Jenna of a team of fizzers that were weighing their stacks in the live on camera, and nothing happened to them. They were not looking for themselves, it was for their customers, but that takes the fun out of it. What if Winnie were weighing stacks and someone gets a unicorn? What does that say for the person behind them going, oh, well, Winnie's not happy about it. Here's why. Winnie and Jenna, the reason that we come back and we keep doing this and we keep talking about it is because of the hypocrisy. Other reps will get fired or let go for a rumor or almost nothing. Then some reps can weigh their stacks on live on camera and nothing happens. 'Tis not fair. That is not fair. If you're going to do it to one, you do it to everybody, or you leave everybody the fuck alone. That's it. That's all it is. You punish everyone, or you leave everyone alone. That's all. That's all anybody wants. This is how much Winnie does not care, and Jenna as well, when it involves Jenna's account. Winnie will always speak with Jenna about it. These people follow Jenna. Jenna gave no fucks and said, show it, I don't care, call them out. So how about we start hitting these reps where it matters? Let's stop purchasing from the ones who are doing shady, sneaky shit. I don't care if they care or not. Maybe they don't care if they're gonna get in trouble. You know what they do care about? Their money. They care about their money. So stop buying from those shitty reps. There are so many good ones. There are so many good, honest reps. Spend your money with them.
And listen, Sunnee D obviously has her own mess of problems, but the way Bomb Party appeared to have aimed their crosshairs at Sunnee was objectively shitty to do to her or to anyone. If you're not gonna hold everyone accountable at the same standards, then you can't hold anyone accountable. You don't get to pick and choose. It's all or nothing. In other Winnie/Jenna news, like I mentioned earlier, she's been going off at Lillian and Bomb Party hard after her own situation with them last year. One of the other things she's been spouting off about is what she's called Unicorn Gate. And it's basically this phenomenon going on within Bomb Party where the distributor will keep every unicorn or diamond piece that they find for themselves and just open up a new box for the customer.
Oh my gosh, I'm so shocked my husband picked that one. Bitch, please. Those aren't for you. They're not for you. Those are for your customers who spend all that money. So you got the rare one and you don't even pay as much as they do. You do the wholesale price and you take it from your people who support you every single day. You should feel like a piece of shit. Yes, I said that. You watching, who opened a unicorn for yourself yesterday and pretended to be surprised? I hope you feel like a piece of shit.
And there are so many examples of this happening that have been posted to Reddit. It's a real problem. Why? Because part of what draws customers in to purchase Bomb Party in the first place is the gambling aspect. They advertise that, hey, you're gonna be spending $25 to $45 per piece, but there's a 1 in 3,000 chance that you'll get real diamonds, or you have a chance to reveal what's referred to as a unicorn, which is basically just a rare piece that's one of like 250 made. So if you're shopping with a rep that just keeps opening all the diamonds and unicorns for themselves, what's the appeal? It's literally scamming in its purest form. Reddit calls them unicorn thieves or unicorn snatchers, and you can find a bajillion instances of it happening, including plenty of screenshots of reps who are caught openly sporting these stolen unicorn pieces. But this also goes back to the whole weighing controversy. Are some Bomb Party reps stupid enough to weigh the boxes on a live stream for everyone to see? Yes. But others are very obviously going through their inventory and weighing each box until they find a box that has a different weight than all the others. Then they'll open it for themselves and then they show off that they got a unicorn.
You never know what you can get. I pulled myself a bracelet and a stack, and I opened it up and I got a unicorn.
All right, guys, my turn for Halloween stacks. Let's see what we get. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Another Lillian's unicorn!
This isn't by chance. They have the advantage of being able to physically weigh all of their inventory and claim what they want for themselves first. With this kind of turning into a pattern with many reps, it turns customers off. Suddenly, their chances of revealing a diamond or a unicorn is slim to none because the rep already claimed it for themselves. And there's also been accusations that the whole diamonds and unicorn supply is rigged from the corporate level as well, with some reps accusing BP of selectively sending more unicorns and diamonds to their highest ranked reps, while their downlines hardly ever get any. Who knows if this accusation is true, but it wouldn't surprise me.
It's not exciting anymore. I just feel like it's all repetitive, it's all the same crap, it's all the same drama. I don't want to leave. I hate change. I just said I hate change, but I want some kind of change. There's no reason where, again, I'm watching a rep literally reveal 5 unicorns in one, not in 3 different lives, in one single live. 5 Halloween stacks, unicorn, back to back to back to back to back. And I am opening 14 stacks and 7 of them are doubles. Or 21 stacks and 7 of them were doubles, which made 14 out of the 21 doubles. That's not fair. That's not fair.
Another situation that caused a distributor to quit was with this girl. What you need to know is that with Bomb Party, it seems like each representative at least has the option to operate their own point of sale for the jewelry. In other words, some people collect money through PayPal or some other system. I think this allows the reps to offer their own discounts and specials if they want to, but there are some dishonest people out in the world, and sometimes those people wind up in a Bomb Party live stream and they scam the reps. This girl did not appear to be a high-ranked individual, so she isn't rolling in cash and can't easily absorb fraud when it happens to her like some other reps probably could. So she tearfully got on her TikTok and told a story about how she's getting stuck with chargebacks, and Bomb Party was supposedly dragging their feet.
Yet another email from Bomb Party.
I just don't know what to do at this point. I got an email saying that there was a chargeback from Savannah. Another one. Okay, there's another chargeback from Savannah. So they're taking more money from me. My heart is like literally racing right now. I feel so defeated. What makes matters worse is they have never gotten back to me about the bank approving the appeal or not. So they completely have not messaged me at all because we did dispute it, but yet they want to send me another email, the same exact email, like nothing ever happened, that they're sorry to inform me that there was another chargeback. How many chargebacks did she do? And I'm just gonna eat these because I ate the last one. There's nothing I can do. I'm thinking really, really sinful thoughts right now about that girl. Honestly, I can't help but be upset with this company, honestly. Like, I have been working hard, like, seriously, I've been working hard at this. I've been working really hard at this. And I don't understand how, like, they can just take money from me. I really don't. Like, this is not my fault. Obviously, she's a scammer. Obviously, she's a scammer. Why aren't they looking into this? Like, they're not doing anything. Like, they're not doing anything. I don't know what to do at this point because I do not support this at all. I just don't see how someone can, like, be like able to do that. Somebody's got to do something because this is just not right. I mean, it has to be pretty bad for me to talk about the company that I'm under like this. They are not the ones struggling like we do, okay? It's not for the weak. It is not for the weak to go live and have nobody in your room or like have like an hour and a half live and like no orders, okay? It's not for the weak. You can really get in your head. Like, there's a lot of like sacrifices doing this. There really is. Like, it's not easy. I have a family. Like, I spend time in this when I could be doing other things. I literally had bomb parties back, like the whole like rep switching over and stuff like that. Like, I had their back. I never said anything about it. I actually told someone, like told them, like I've seen nothing wrong with them, even after everything that's happened with me. But I don't know if I don't know. I have lost all respect for this company. And it's just really sad because like I love it. I think I made up my decision. I can't work for someone who does that. I really hope that she's just enjoying that jewelry while all of us suffer. I don't know what's wrong with that girl, but I believe in God and in what he says. So as far as that goes, I'm not worried about it, but I just really loved this company.
Now, if this happens to a rep, Bomb Party supposedly says that they will send that rep product credit, but they won't send them an actual like cash refund for the stolen inventory, which, by the way, the reps have to pay for shipping and handling themselves. So at the very least, she would be losing out on shipping costs to have more jewelry sent to her as a reimbursement. But it seems as though Bomb Party wasn't being very helpful to this girl, which caused her to go into the comment section of a live stream that was being put on the official Bomb Party page. And in these comments, she decided to air her grievances, and Bomb Party didn't like that very much either.
So I was just on Bomb Party Officials Live. Okay, this is crazy. I ask, are you the owner? And she's busy talking. So someone else says, her sister is, this is Lily and the CEO or whatever. And I was like, my video is trending. Have you seen my video? I got 2 chargebacks and I haven't heard a peep from Bomb Party. I said, lack of care. And someone said, stop. And I said, what do you mean stop? And she said, this isn't the time or place. I said, what do you mean? She's like the highest up person. Shouldn't she know? Like, this would be the person that I would go to. What else did I say? I don't think I said anything else. And they muted me. They muted me, dude. As she's talking about, literally, this is a live of her talking about how they care so much about what we think, what we say. They care about their customer, or they care about their workers. Like, I am like, what? Like, you muted me, dude. That's crazy. They muted me just for saying what happened. Like, they wanted to keep me on the hush, guys.
So of course she ended up leaving Bomb Party after this terrible and unfair situation happened to her, and the company allegedly did not handle it well. But don't feel too bad for her yet. Just like many of these disgruntled reps, this girl also decided to join Rise. So she's basically placing herself back in the position to get scammed yet again, because in my opinion, all MLMs are scams. From one human to another, I hope she doesn't find herself in a similar situation over at Rise, but those are all the well wishes I can give to any of these people who decided to leave Bomb Party, but not the network marketing industry altogether. Another reason that I've seen reps give for their own departure from BP doesn't actually have to do with BP itself, it actually has to do with TikTok. Apparently, TikTok changed some stuff about how they handle external links on the platform now. My understanding is that TikTok is trying to convince live stream sellers to use the TikTok shop, so it's trying to cut down on people rerouting potential buyers to outside websites because TikTok wants that money for themselves. So it has a small list of safe websites, I would assume like Amazon and stuff, that TikTokers are totally allowed to reroute to. But if they're rerouting to an external website that is not on TikTok's approved list of external websites, then their live stream can be restricted. And if a live stream's restricted, then they're not pushing it into the For You page of everyone scrolling, and then you basically lose access to your entire cold market. And this also means not as many live viewers, meaning not as many sales. And honestly, as shitty as TikTok's greed is, this will probably cut down on the amount of MLM distributors using TikTok to shill their scammy crap. After all, it's in TikTok's own rules that you're not allowed to be promoting a multi-level marketing company on their platform. They just almost never enforce that rule. But this may just, cut down on how many of these scammers appear on the platform as a whole. A silver lining, I guess.
So I was a rep for about 6 months and I ended my journey October. My first few weeks was great. I had the sales, I had people coming in. That didn't last very long because a few weeks, about mid-April, I had to take time off to go to travel to the Philippines to visit my dad, who was terminally ill. That visit lasted for a month. June 1st, that's when I came back and I restarted my lives. And that's when I noticed that the views were not the same, the algorithm has changed, and my sales had decreased tremendously. So, but I kept going. I was consistent with my lives 3 times a week. I bought inventories to keep up with the new collection. Every 2 weeks, I gave it my all. I was not successful in increasing my sales, getting views. At the end of September, I knew that's when I decided to call it quits because I had given it my all. My all. This is harder than my nursing job. It affected my mental health tremendously. So that's when I had to let it go to heal myself from this journey.
It's also important to note that in April of this year, Bomb Party raised its prices. They tried to justify this by saying that they're adding more diamonds and unicorns into circulation, but the reps are stealing all of those for themselves, so the actual customers are being forced to eat that price themselves for nothing in return. Speaking of changes within BP, after Sunnee was terminated and took hundreds of people with her over to Rise, BP was like, maybe we should stop being so authoritarian. So they made some big rule changes to try to convince its reps not to leave. In October 2025, Bomb Party decided to permit trading because Rise doesn't care if people trade. What this means is basically before this rule change, if you were a customer in someone's Bomb Party live stream and you ended up getting a piece of jewelry that you didn't like, you were basically stuck with it. No returns and no trades. There are some BP buy-sell trade groups on Facebook that are established by customers who are looking to trade their pieces with each other, and Bomb Party has no control over that. But what is within their control is their reps. So the rule was distributors were not allowed to promote or host any trading in their live streams or their personal private Facebook groups. And if customers were caught trying to do trades in the comment section of the live stream or in these people's Facebook groups, the rep would get punished if they didn't see it and immediately stop it. So after they lost tons of people over their authoritarian control of Sunnee, Bomb Party folded and they're like, okay, fine, you can trade. They also opened the opportunity for Bomb Party reps to not be exclusively tied to only selling Bomb Party. Now they're allowed to be involved in multiple multi-level marketing companies at the same time, even their direct competitors.
So we can now sell other jewelry besides Bomb Party. The owner of the company has set us free to do that. I'm a leader and I want you to be spreading your wings and exploring everything that's going to be better for you and your family. Will it hurt me? Potentially, but that's okay. I know it can be very uncomfortable and leaders can get maybe fearful, like, oh my gosh, am I gonna lose people? And yeah, you might.
This was obviously an effort to convince people that, like, hey, if you really feel like you want to leave Bomb Party and go to Rise with Sunnee, you don't have to leave BP, you can just do both. The biggest problem with this is that most multi-level marketing companies in every category have in their rules and their policies and procedures that you cannot sell for another MLM while you're involved with them. Sometimes they don't care as long as it's not a direct competitor. Other times they don't care as long as you're under a certain rank. So it almost doesn't even matter that Bomb Party says they don't care, because every other MLM company has their own rules and a lot of them do care. So each distributor who decides they want to go look for other opportunities in other MLMs without leaving Bomb Party, they need to make sure that the new MLM that they're choosing is totally okay with them also selling for Bomb Party at the same time. Many people saw through this move. It's obvious what they were doing and why they were doing it. I've seen so many comments that people are leaving Bomb Party and calling them out. We don't have time to go over all those. Just know that Bomb Party's true intentions are crystal clear and people have noticed. Next on our list is Jesus. Yeah, of course. People are throwing a fit because they think the Bomb Party doesn't honor their religion enough.
And when I first started this company, I absolutely loved it. I still love it to an extent, but it has taken a shift. And with that, it no longer aligns with my faith, with my morals, with my values. And because of that, I will no longer be taking anyone onto my team. I will not be growing my team anymore.
After a lot of thought, I have decided to step back from Bomb Party. I do not align with the Bomb Party requirements, and so I will be taking a break.
To get into specifics, part of the sentiment is because their CEO, Lillian, is an openly gay woman. She has a wife, and the Bible thumpers of Bomb Party just can't take it anymore. How dare two women be in love? How dare they post it to social media, even though every heterosexual couple is totally allowed to flaunt their relationships? And yes, this section is gonna get slightly political and religiously critical. So if you can't handle that, skip ahead a couple minutes, but it's worth discussing because it's a significant part of people's decision to leave the company. And I think that these people are out of their minds, so I have things to say about it. Take this woman, Cheryl, who I've seen comment something similar on at least 2 different posts about BP reps quitting. In one comment, Cheryl writes, "I was a rep and left. Best decision ever. BP has become more satanic, dark, and evil. The price point is crazy. The items are made in China, which supports their military who will eventually come after the US. Personally, I couldn't back a CEO that's not a Christian who has different sexual orientation." We get it, Cheryl. You're a homophobe who just can't get over what people do in the privacy of their own bedroom, and you're so bothered by other people who aren't in the same cult as you. In another comment on a totally separate reps post, Cheryl writes, "I was with BP once, but once their collections started getting dark by having more snakes, Satan, and other demonic things, I couldn't support a company that isn't faith-based." Okay, so let's talk about the collections that are making Christians freak out. I'll show you the designs that have them clutching their pearls, and you'll laugh because it's ridiculous. But I do need to read this post to you first. Now, I did find it on Reddit. Someone had already taken it and censored it and scribbled all over it. That was not me, just so you know. But the post says, "Upon viewing the previews of the upcoming Halloween bracelet stacks, I have confidently made the decision to send them all back to the company. I had ordered 100 of them in hopes that it would be a fun party. As a true Christian believer in the Lord Jesus Christ of Nazareth, my spirit does not align with where this company has been headed, and quite frankly, with many of these collections that BP has been putting out lately, I have discernment, and there has been blasphemy and false idol after false idol, upside down crosses, and now a cross on a coffin. Siren and Untamed collections were total evil and blasphemy. The names of the pieces were demonic and spellbinding. I'm walking away from this company because I would rather spend eternity in heaven than to align myself with a bunch of witches promoting evil and blasphemy who are destined for hell without repentance. By no means am I mad at the people of BP. It's not the people, it's the enemy that works through the people that I speak of." Holy religious psychosis, sis. There is so much there. First of all, here are the pieces that the comments have mentioned, and I actually find this funny because as someone who's a huge consumer of Bomb Party content here on YouTube, when I saw these snake pieces, I was like, that is the first cute thing I've ever seen Bomb Party release. I actually really like their snake pieces, and I would absolutely wear them if someone gave them to me. I wouldn't buy them myself, but you know what I mean. Meanwhile, all these people in Bomb Party are like, oh no, it's Satan, even though the Bible itself doesn't specify that the talking snake in the Garden of Eden was even Satan to begin with. The Christians just kind of made that shit up in their head. Like, go ahead, you pick up your Bible and you read through Genesis and point out the verse to me that says the talking snake was Satan. I'll wait. I couldn't find any Bomb Party pieces that looked like an upside down cross, so I have no idea where they're getting that. But the cross on the coffin thing was part of their Halloween collection this year. It's literally just this. I mean, I think the cross was added to confirm that it is, in fact, supposed to be a coffin. Without the cross, it might not be so obvious. It'd just be a box with wings. And the cross isn't upside down. And historically, crosses have been placed on coffins for centuries, literally as a Christian symbol of faith. So why the hell are they getting so uppity about it? Like, it's a very common visual representation of what coffins used to look like, minus the wings, of course. It's probably trying to be a reference to vampires and stuff, but I need to remind you that this is a Halloween collection. This isn't just some random idea that they released in the middle of like June or something. It's for Halloween. Anyway, I hope you didn't think that this was the end of the list for reasons that there was such a big mass exodus from Bomb Party this year, but no, we're still going because we actually have to talk about the Hawaii retreat that they had this year. That whole thing caused a lot of drama, and it even got one Bomb Party rep to resign while she was there in Hawaii on the Bomb Party retreat. She resigned while she was there. This woman, Coriana, aka Alaska Fizz, made this post while she was in Hawaii on a trip that she earned with Bomb Party. In the caption, she writes, "This decision wasn't easy. I poured my heart, time, and energy into this company, and I've met some incredible people along the way. But lately, I've realized that staying would mean continuing to silence the parts of me that I value most. I owe it to my customers and to myself to be transparent. I'm tired of feeling like I'm cheating people out of the experience that they deserve. I've watched unfair treatment go unchecked, reps being punished for speaking up, myself included, and others rewarded while breaking the very rules that the rest of us are held to. When you work hard, earn success, and are still made to feel small, that's not leadership, that's control. What finally broke me was realizing that the company I joined, the one that once stood for family, integrity, and sisterhood, isn't that anymore. Communication is non-existent, recognition feels recycled, and reps like me, who simply love selling and earning incentive trips, are expected to build teams just to survive. And when leadership's words publicly divide customers and cause them to walk away, it affects all of us. I've lost customers over it. I've lost teammates over it. I've lost trust because of it. To those who pried, picked, and tore me down for personal gain, you win. I'm done fighting battles that drain my peace and fill your pocket. I don't have the time or energy for 40-year-old mean girls who thrive on tearing others apart." And then she started talking about Jesus and stuff. We don't need to get into that, but Sunnee D did post a comment on this post, and she just said, "Let's rise." So this seems to be another person who, quote unquote, followed the leader. Moving on to another rep with complaints about the Hawaii trip. This woman complains because she waited too long to book her flight to Hawaii, and now Bomb Party won't cover the full cost of the plane ticket.
Just 2 days ago, you emailed me and said it was $842 per ticket. Now you coming back and say it's $1,490 for every freaking ticket. No. So what did I actually earn? Nothing. I didn't earn shit. But it's okay, guys. It's okay. It's okay. You'll see. I'm not going to talk bad about the company. I'm not going to talk bad about the company. I'm not going to say anything negative other than it's BS. It's BS. But it's okay. All that hard work for what? Yeah. Oh, man. That just hurts me to the core. You know what I'm saying? That hurts. That's like a slap in the face, you know, like, here, let's make all this money. Let's earn all these points. Let's sell the hell out of this jewelry. For what? For what? For false information.
What you need to know is that Bomb Party made it pretty clear what they would and would not be covering for this retreat. I will say, with a lot of multi-level marketing companies, a lot of them don't even cover the airfare to get to the destination. So at least Bomb Party was willing to like help their distributors cover the cost of the plane ticket, because that's going to be one of the most expensive parts of any vacation. Now, Bomb Party does say they potentially will cover airfare for two, capped at $900 per person. In a lot of cases, this won't cover a full round trip ticket, but it sure as hell will put a huge dent in the cost. This rep is complaining that she potentially could have had her airfare covered, but she waited too long and now Bomb Party won't cover it. Well, it seems like they'll cover most of it for you, and it's your fault for waiting too long, girly. She's trying to be like, I didn't earn anything now because I can't even get there. It sounds like you earned $900 to to put towards a plane ticket to get your ass there, and you dragged your feet. Which brings us to this lady. This is Heidi, aka Fizzin' in the Rockies. She has a grievance about the Hawaii trip, but that grievance was self-inflicted because apparently Heidi doesn't ever read anything ever. About a week before the Hawaii trip, Heidi went on to her stories to complain that she didn't budget for food, and she's worried that she won't be able to afford to eat when she goes on her earned Hawaii trip.
After finding out that this was not an all-inclusive hotel, which it's my bad. I mean, I just wish Bomb Party would make things a little bit more clear. Basically, their thing just said, covers your room and airfare. Like a hamburger and soda, because we looked it up, is like $30. So for Randall and I each to get like a hamburger and a drink is like $60. I was a little worried because I didn't budget for this. I just didn't. And I am now out of inventory. So I am literally trying not to cry because otherwise my lash lady, you know, it'll irritate my eyes even more. I didn't budget for that. I was planning on putting all the party money back into inventory, buying from some other reps and all the things, and I just can't do that now. And I may just have to call Bomb Party and tell them that I'm going to need to cancel some pre-orders, which I get dinged for. They charge me 10% on anything that I need to cancel. Yeah, I'm in a little bit of a pickle. I have the Jewel Candy order that literally I went crazy, and that's like over a $7,000 order.
Oh, woe is me. I had to cancel a $7,000 inventory order so I can eat in Hawaii. And she said that while she was literally driving to an appointment to get her eyelashes done. She's trying to make this oversight that she had everyone else's problem except for her. And then also at the end of the Hawaii trip, this was during the government shutdown that I'm sure we all remember, apparently a lot of people got stranded in Hawaii because their flights were getting canceled because there was a lack of airport staff. So Heidi decided she would go on to laugh in the faces of people who were stranded in Hawaii and couldn't get home. She's truly a gem.
I definitely am sitting here feeling blessed because I see so many people whose flights were canceled and they literally are stranded. So many people trying to get home and can't get home.
Anyway, I feel like this is a nice transition into the distributors who are choosing not to leave BP because they're all crashing out hard. Let's observe a few. Now, I believe that this is from Heidi. Apparently, her husband got on her live stream to defend his wife while seemingly tickling his balls the entire time, so that's bizarre. But I think this crash out is funny because he's like, stop it, no one cares about you buttholes on Reddit. But it's like, if you don't care, why are you showing up on your wife's live stream to defend her? Are you tired of it or do you not care? It can't be both.
All right, here's to you people on Reddit. I don't know who you think you are. Nobody gives a shit what you guys think. I guess you have no life whatsoever. So yeah, I'm gonna spout off because I'm sick and tired of them spouting about my wife just because she changes her look, she changes this, she changes that, and you guys seem to have an issue with it. So I'm tired of it. Reddit's just like I said, it's just a cesspool of people who have no life and no idea what they want to do with it, but I guess they're mad about theirs, so they got to try and trash somebody else's who's actually doing something good and making a business and making people happy, whatever. So anyway, have at it. Why don't you trash me for a while? I don't really care, because I don't care what people think anyway. I keep on doing what I do. But like I say, this is her business, so it kind of affects her that way.
It does.
Anyway, screw you people on Reddit. I don't really care.
And here's another rep who is clearly extremely unbothered by haters. You can tell by her tone of voice that she really doesn't care.
I think what's really sad about it all is that people who do that think it bothers you. And listen, there are some things that have been said about me in years past that did hurt my feelings. It hurt me because I was like, why would someone think that about me that's not true? Then I realized it's not even why am I getting upset over something that isn't even true? It's jewelry. And if people are saying that kind of severe things about you over jewelry, I think they have worse things in their life going on than I need to worry about them being butthurt over a piece of jewelry. When you really think about it, it's really sad. It's truly a disease. It is sad. I truly pray for them, and I truly hope that their heart can heal from whatever trauma they are going through or have gone through. But it is a sickness, it is an illness, it is a disease, and you just gotta pray for them. You gotta pray for them, because that's the only thing that will help their heart. It has absolutely no effect on me. It has no effect on my family, my mental health. my business, my day-to-day life. It does not affect me at all. It doesn't hurt me. It doesn't hurt me. The person on the other side of that screen is dealing with a lot more than you think that they are. And they just have to have someone to take it out on. You just have to pray for them and turn. You're not doing anything right if you don't have someone hate on you, you know?
And in case you wanted a passive-aggressive crash out, you can get that from this lady.
All I see is all these reps leaving BP. If you know me, you know I am a BP rep and I am proud to work for this company. I know people have their opinions on who's better, who's not better. It's not a comparison. People are bad-mouthing the company for no reason. Honestly, it's sad. It isn't about the company. It's about you. I love BP. I wouldn't change it for the world. Yes, am I struggling? 100%. But that's when you just show up. People are leaving for personal reasons, and most of them do not have to do with BP. So seeing the comments in some people's videos is sad. And don't poach people. That's gross. Don't come in someone's comments and say, so-and-so's better, come here. That's poaching.
Who else is crashing out? Oh look, it's Heidi again, literally crying on a live stream to get pity sales. When you have to resort to tears to get people to buy from you, your business must not be doing so well.
Thank you for supporting my business and watching me cry so that I could get an order. 1 through 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 coming out. Look, guys, it worked. I got an order.
And some distributors are just completely losing their minds entirely.
These are my ring bumps, my ring bumps, my ring bumps. These are my ring bumps. You can touch them, you can feel them, you can fist them, you can reveal them. Go and tell your mother, go and tell your father, go and tell your sister. Go and tell your brother, and if you fizz my ring bomb, you can find a unicorn, you can find a diamond.
To end this section, I would like to highlight Lillian and her own personal crash outs over everything that's been happening over the past few months. When it comes to being passive-aggressive, Lillian is the master. This video made a lot of distributors mad, and it brought up allegations of her not being professional with her #ew comment.
As a rep, it is a really, 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 really not cute look for as a rep to post nastiness on the public page that you work a business for. I'm just gonna say that. Politely just gonna say that. Like, #ew.
The continued fall of Bomb Party deserved our number 6 spot this year, not only because of the giant mass exodus, but because of the multitude of reasons that these distributors had for leaving in the first place. Maybe we'll see the complete collapse of the company in 2026, because I can't see them staying afloat for much longer. Number 4, Paparazzi cancels itself. If you've been here for a while, you know that most of my YouTube existence has been spent in a war with Paparazzi. Paparazzi is the MLM company that sells, or used to sell, $5 jewelry. That was the price point for Paparazzi's entire lifespan. But for the first time in the company's history, they raised their prices. We'll get into all of that, of course, but the main meat and potatoes of this section that earned Paparazzi the number 4 spot on this year's list is their battle with the Washington State Attorney General, resulting in Paparazzi literally canceling itself. For some backstory, remember what happened to LuLaRoe, the leggings company that was sued by Washington State, and they ended up changing their entire compensation plan and thus ending the company's supreme reign over the industry? Well, Washington tried to do the same exact thing to Paparazzi this year, but Paparazzi didn't take the route of LuLaRoe. They paved their own path, leading to the Paparazzi distributors in the state of Washington being SOL. The same way they did with LuLaRoe, Washington served Paparazzi with a list of demands that the company would have to agree to, or else Washington's AG would sue them, and then they couldn't operate their business in the state of Washington anymore. On Friday, February 28th, 2025, Paparazzi consultants in the state of Washington were blindsided when this email slid into their inbox. It says, "Dear Washington Paparazzi consultant, given market forces and changing business conditions, we've been considering the future of our Washington State consultant opportunity. We've determined that the best way to move forward is to stop offering our consultant opportunity in the state of Washington. What does this mean for you? You will no longer be a paparazzi consultant on March 31st, 2025. You will qualify for any accrued March 2025 commissions earned between March 1st and March 31st, 2025, which will be paid out as per policies and procedures no later than April 20th, 2025. After cancellation, Washington residents may purchase accessories as customers from other paparazzi consultants at retail prices, but may not enroll as consultants. Once your account is canceled, you can no longer represent paparazzi as a consultant, but you can offer for sale your existing inventory and keep the proceeds from the sale. Any Washington consultant who has remained in good standing with paparazzi and moves to another state may re-enroll without waiting as normally required by Section 11.5 of paparazzi policies. Washington consultants are encouraged to get any information they need from their back office because on March 31st, 2025, access to accounts will end. This obviously shocked the consultant base to its core, but it also brings up the fact that these MLM consultants can call themselves business owners all they want. They can claim, this is my business and I do what I want with it until the cows come home. But when you own your own business, you can't get laid off like this. Now, when LuLaRoe went through this same exact thing with the Washington State Attorney General, they decided to overhaul everything in order to remain compliant with their list of demands so that they'd be able to continue to operate in the state of Washington. Now, paparazzi, on the other hand, they didn't want to do that. Obviously, after reading that email, they basically were like, we ain't changing nothing. Sorry. Say bye-bye to your bling biz. According to the official statement put out by the Washington State Attorney General, they say approximately 7,100 people were affected by this, and all of those people would be getting compensation checks of about $180 each, an extremely underwhelming amount considering how much money many of these people have spent loading up on their paparazzi inventory. Regardless, these checks would be funded by the $1.9 million fine imposed upon the company. So what did the Washington State Attorney General demand that paparazzi change? Let's go through the list. Demand number 1, they cannot require that a consultant make their own personal purchases or require that their downlines make personal purchases of their own to be eligible for compensation. Paparazzi can't change that without changing the entire compensation plan. Paparazzi consultants do have their own personal website where customers can shop, but the stock is limited. What a vast majority of paparazzi consultants do is they buy up thousands of pieces of jewelry and they either go live on social media to sell it, or they have personal Facebook pages where they post the inventory that they have on hand and they arrange sales that way. Leaders receive most of their team bonuses and commissions based on what inventory their downlines buy, not necessarily how much of it they actually sell. And if these leaders want to cash in on those bonuses, they need to meet a personal volume requirement monthly in order to meet active status, aka they're required to buy inventory if they want to receive downline commissions. Demand number 2, uplines cannot get paid on a new recruit's purchase of a starter kit. This is exactly why anti-MLMers say, you get paid when you recruit someone. That statement is relevant to most MLM companies. The argument from MLM consultants usually goes something like this. My company doesn't pay me to recruit, they pay me for sales. Okay, well when you recruit someone new, they have to buy a starter kit, and you get paid a sales commission on that immediately after recruiting them. This could be an easy change, honestly, but it might make consultants less willing to try to recruit a downline, and MLMs can't survive if their whole business model doesn't incentivize recruiting. Demand number 3, consultants cannot be required to make purchases to achieve specific ranks. But the Washington Attorney General still says that they're allowed to have a minimum sales requirement in order to participate in the compensation plan. Paparazzi specifically has 2 ranking systems. One is based on team building and the other is based on how much inventory a consultant buys. In order for paparazzi to comply with this demand, they would basically have to do away with the current life of the party system as we know it. I mean, if they ever actually start tracking real sales to real customers, this ranking system could still work. But to my knowledge, paparazzi has not implemented such a system yet. I doubt they ever will, because it would require overhauling their entire point of sale system and back office, aka it'll cost them a buttload of money. Demand number 4, paparazzi would not be allowed to base a consultant's compensation, qualification, or rank title on the number of people in their downline, the depth of their downline, the consultant's personal volume, or the volume generated by their downline. Well, that's basically how every MLM establishes its ranks, so this isn't an easy change to make without basically throwing out the entire MLM business model. Demand number 5, Paparazzi would have to base commission and bonuses on inventory actually sold to customers. To my understanding, the current system in Paparazzi is like it pays the uplines based on the inventory that their downline buys, and it doesn't matter if they actually sell that inventory to customers or not. So this change would cause a significant decrease in leader income because most of what they're currently being paid on just kind of winds up gathering dust in someone's garage, never to be sold to an actual customer. And when leaders and MLMs get hit with pay cuts, they usually leave in droves, which would inflict even more instability on the company's longevity. Once the inventory reaches the hands of the consultant for final sale to a customer, Paparazzi doesn't care what happens to it, and neither do the uplines. They already got their money, so the downline better hope that they can find someone to sell their inventory to, or else they won't get any return on their investment. Demand number 6. Prospective participants, aka people targeted for recruitment, have to be given a copy of Paparazzi's income disclosure statement. Then the prospect has to provide written confirmation that they received the document, which then starts a 7-day long waiting period during which the prospect cannot sign any contracts, agree to anything, pay any money to the company, or participate in any training the entire time. The potential upline is not allowed to have contact with this prospect at all during this time either. This essentially gives every potential recruit 7 days to research the business opportunity for themselves before making a final decision. And cutting out the upline's ability to influence the prospect's decision basically makes it impossible to recruit anyone at all. They wouldn't be allowed to throw FOMO at them, bend the truth, or lie entirely in order to get them to sign on. They would now be given 7 days to figure things out for themselves, which we all know would weed out a lot of people from actually joining. Demand number 7, compensation can't be paid on the basis of purchases made by consultants. Something that often happens in Paparazzi specifically is when they release new inventory, the leaders get first dibs on new releases. What usually happens is they buy them all up before their downlines even get a chance to purchase them for themselves. Then the uplines say, hey, are you having a hard time selling your inventory? It's probably because your inventory is too old and boring. Look at this new piece I just got my hands on today. Wouldn't you like it for your shop? Buy it from me for full price, add it to your own inventory, and the people who come for that piece of jewelry will stick around and purchase more pieces from you while they're there. Long story short, upline buy new inventory, downline buy from upline at full price, downline attract new customer buy more, profit. Well, that's how it's supposed to work in theory anyway. What this really means is that the uplines aren't actually selling to real customers, they're selling to their downlines. This demand by the Washington State Attorney General says that uplines can't sell to their downlines anymore, and this would result in a huge pay cut for leaders, and then they'd leave in droves and Paparazzi would suffer, so of course they didn't want to implement that. Demand number 8. Paparazzi would have to take steps to start keeping track of inventory, which would require that every piece of jewelry sold by a paparazzi consultant be documented with the method of payment used, the products and quantities sold, the date the sale was made, the price that the customer bought the piece for, and the customer's email address. Then paparazzi would be required to cross-check all of this information for auditing purposes. This would be made in a direct effort to verify that these jewelry sales are being made to actual outside customers, not other distributors. Paparazzi obviously doesn't want to do this because A, it would cost them a lot of money to create an inventory tracking system like that, and B, leaders would have their paychecks slashed and then they would leave in droves to pursue new opportunities. Demand number 9. Paparazzi consultants and corporate employees are not allowed to misrepresent the business opportunity in any way, including but not limited to saying they're likely to make substantial sales, income, or profit, not disclosing the amount of money they've actually earned, misrepresenting the amount of time someone would have to spend to make such compensation, and saying they'll only fail if they don't apply themselves. Every MLM uses these methods to manipulate people into joining. If they're not allowed to lie about the opportunity, no one will join. Paparazzi can't survive under such conditions. Demand number 10. Any and all recruitment methods used, even if the statements are compliant with these new terms, has to be accompanied by an income disclosure statement. In response to this entire investigation, Paparazzi put out a new income disclosure statement using data from the year of 2024, and holy mackerel, it's bad. And what makes it so bad is the Washington State Attorney General document basically provided a template at the bottom showcasing exactly what they wanted Paparazzi to put on this updated income disclosure statement, and the results are damning. In a big, bright, bold bar, in a corresponding red text label, we can see clear as day that according to Paparazzi's own internal information, 98.7% of Paparazzi participants lost money in 2024. 98.7%. And mind you, this is only based on Paparazzi's internal records. This does not include other expenses paparazzi consultants paid to attend convention, travel to events, any shipping fees that they spent to mail out sold inventory, packaging, and any extras. And as I mentioned earlier, buying inventory for full price from other paparazzi consultants. Yeah, they even put that on the income disclosure statement, probably not by choice, but it just goes to show how big of a problem this is in the company that they felt the need to include it in their income disclosure statement. So now take this new income disclosure statement and consider the fact that the Washington State Attorney General tried to tell paparazzi that they had to hand this joke of a document over to every potential recruit and let them marinate on it for 7 days before they can sign on. Who in their right mind would see a chart like this and be like, yeah, that seems like a good idea? Not a single person in their right mind would be like, I'm definitely gonna do this. Paparazzi knew this, and they knew it would put recruitment efforts at a standstill. And if an MLM isn't always constantly recruiting new people, then they can't operate. Demand number 11. Paparazzi consultants cannot advertise the products as lead and nickel free unless they test them themselves and provide the lab results. This is because, as I mentioned, these two metals and other heavy metals were found in some of the jewelry. After this happened, paparazzi did take all lead and nickel free claims off their website, but that didn't stop people from still advertising the jewelry as lead and nickel free. This is still happening to this day. Paparazzi doesn't stop them, nor do they seem to care. Demand number 12. Consultants found to be breaking any of these new demands must be disciplined. Considering the length of this list, paparazzi certainly didn't want to contribute the energy that would be required of them to hold all of their consultants accountable, since they all basically break the rules all the time. Paparazzi has also been known to pick favorites, where they'll let certain distributors get away with one thing, and then if someone else does the same exact thing, they'll terminate them. If they're not allowed to pick favorites anymore, then they'd have to start holding everyone accountable. And paparazzi just isn't about that. Demand number 13. For the next 5 years, paparazzi would have to provide annual detailed reports to the Washington State Attorney General showing that they're taking all of the steps necessary to be in compliance with this list of demands. Specifically, they want to see the progress that paparazzi makes to collect and maintain sales information, detailed steps that the company is taking to make sure that the sales are genuinely going to real customers and not just being recirculated into the base of distributors, proof that these sales happened the way paparazzi reported that they did, proof of the accuracy of their income disclosure statements, and reports of disciplinary action taken against distributors who are found to be non-compliant with this list of demands. Well, they certainly wouldn't do that. That's too much work. Too much effort. Plus, the leaders would have to take a major pay cut. No way. We're not doing that. Now, one demand that paparazzi did agree to, because, well, they were basically being forced to no matter what decision they made moving forward, was to create a 100% inventory buyback program. They said if someone becomes a paparazzi consultant, they have 60 days from the date of their enrollment to change their mind, and paparazzi would be required to buy all of that inventory back for a full refund, including shipping costs. After the 60 days, the consultant can make a written request to have their inventory returned and refunded for no less than 90% of the original price paid by the consultant. Paparazzi has permission to exclude specific items from this inventory buyback program, but a pop-up window must be displayed to the consultant buying the inventory that these pieces are not subject to be bought by paparazzi. They then must agree to those terms before adding the inventory to their cart and completing the purchase. Oh, and unless the returned jewelry goes through separate third-party testing to determine that the pieces are free of lead and nickel, paparazzi basically has to eat that loss because they're not allowed to resell any of the pieces they buy back from consultants. Actually, they're not even allowed to donate or gift any of these pieces either. They basically have no choice other than to throw them away or destroy them. This is likely because of the multiple third-party tests that we've seen performed on paparazzi jewelry that came back testing positive for heavy metals. It would stop those pieces from being recirculated altogether. Paparazzi was also basically forced to create a customer support email and phone number to assist Washington residents with this buyback program, which probably means that they had to hire a few new temporary employees to make that happen. And for Washington consultants, both present and former, paparazzi was forced to do a one-time buyback of any inventory purchased by Washington residents from January 1st, 2017 to the present. So even if you used to be a paparazzi consultant in 2017 but then quit, Even though you've been out of the company for years, if you had any leftover Paparazzi inventory, Paparazzi was forced to buy it back from you, and they had 60 days to do this, and to my knowledge, this was implemented and is no longer a current option today. Paparazzi did put out a list of eligible inventory that can be bought back by Paparazzi for 90% of the purchase price, not limited to Washington residents. To my knowledge, this is company-wide. Their website has a link with instructions on how to participate in the inventory buyback program. The only catch is the consultant has to request this buyback before they quit, not after. This means that if Paparazzi decides to terminate you, which, by the way, Paparazzi does have a long history of terminating its consultants for the stupidest reasons imaginable, you're SOL and you're stuck with all that inventory. I find this to be problematic as hell because if Paparazzi catches wind that you're even considering quitting, they can strike first and they'll terminate you before you get to make that buyback request. I think we all know that Paparazzi 100% would do this if they were given enough of a heads up. So as you may have guessed, aside from the new inventory buyback program and the release of an updated income disclosure statement, Paparazzi basically told the Washington State Attorney General to shove their list of demands up their butt, resulting in them canceling themselves in the state of Washington. But why? If LuLaRoe could comply with them, why couldn't Paparazzi? Well, I mean, have you heard much about LuLaRoe lately? No? Exactly. LuLaRoe as a business has shriveled down to just a fraction of its size at its peak. Paparazzi would experience the same fate, if not be shut down completely. The amount of time, effort, energy, and mainly money that they would have to put forth into becoming compliant with the state of Washington was not worth it to Paparazzi. They literally sat up there and they said, it's not worth it to us to try to save the businesses of our 7,100 consultants in Washington. Too bad, so sad. But my favorite thing to come out of this situation was this aggressive video that Paparazzi CEO Trent Kirby had to make addressing the situation and basically throwing shade at the people who have paid to have Paparazzi's jewelry tested by third parties, suggesting that those test results were bogus. Science doesn't lie, but okay, Trent. Anyway, I'll play the video for you here so we can all bask in the glory of Trent Kirby's tantrum.
This past Friday, we announced that we will no longer be offering the consultant opportunity in the state of Washington. Since that time, some, online and elsewhere, have been making unfounded statements about why we made this decision. We cooperated with Washington as we analyzed all our options. We have operated 14 years in Washington, but now Washington has asked us to either change everything or else. We have decided to stop offering the business opportunity in the state of Washington. Last night, the Washington State Attorney General's office issued a false statement about our agreement we made, and we are working to correct that.
Oh, side note, what he's referring to here is the fact that the Washington State Attorney General's original statement on the matter said that the company was a pyramid scheme. Trent threw a fit and made them put the word alleged in there. Anyway, let's continue.
Our products will continue to be sold retail to all of our customers who live in Washington. It was a difficult decision, but one we believe allows for the majority of paparazzi consultants to continue. We have seen the opportunity empower individuals, foster confidence, and strengthen community. And we want this to continue. Now, more than ever, America needs community. As some continue to take away opportunities, we will continue to fight for people and their rights to build a future. That is the answer. Unfortunately, for those critics trying to fabricate a story, it is that simple. Over the past 3.5 years, we have worked with regulators reviewing our product testing and ensuring the quality of our products. After years of analyzing tens of thousands of items and over 100,000 tests, we are confident in the quality of our product. In this review, we came across 183 items containing trace amounts that, although not harmful, the results do not meet our standards that we pride ourselves on. For these 183 items, we have decided to offer a nationwide voluntary buyback if you decide you want to return an item. Our numerous tests from CPSC certified labs have been reviewed by experts who have determined our products pose no harm and are compliant with applicable regulations for adult jewelry. However, to confirm our commitment to you, we have decided to offer this buyback. I want to explain the stringent testing our product goes through so that you can understand how it works. First, our factories deliver tested product that they ensure meets all regulations. Now, we don't just take their word for it. Upon receiving this inventory into our warehouse located in China, we perform a confirmation testing program. on every single SKU, where we randomly select product from multiple boxes of each item. This then gets tested to ensure that what they delivered is compliant. We do this independent testing at CPSC certified labs. Our labs that we use are specifically certified for jewelry items and all applicable testing requirements. Now, there are some who created a narrative about our product's quality. They continue to post bogus reports from Waypoint Analytical. These bogus tests reflect the accuracy and intelligence of those touting them. Ensuring the quality of our product comes at an enormous cost to us. Having this testing allows us to grow confidently into the future. No item is ever loaded onto a shipping container to come to the United States without proven tests validating its quality. We are grateful to have this lengthy quality analysis behind us, and we are excited to continue offering high-quality products at an extremely affordable price.
Trent is pissed. I love seeing his stink face whine and complain like this. Anyway, you probably took notice of the multiple mentions of importing paparazzi jewelry from China. You know what that means. Tariffs screwed paparazzi over hard this year, as they did to many American companies. As a result, paparazzi made the choice to, for the first time in 14 years, raise their prices to $8. For nearly a decade and a half, paparazzi threw $5 bling all over their marketing materials and beat it into their consultants' heads. Now, thanks to our commander-in-chief, they had no choice but to make this inevitable change. And guys, if you didn't know, paparazzi's past price point of $5 was still not worth it for the pieces of junk they sell. Now it's $8. And as if these ugly pieces of jewelry weren't hard enough to sell before, they're certainly nearly impossible now. In response to all of the shenanigans that went on with paparazzi this year, we've been seeing a lot of consultants drop like flies. Most notably, Carla Neal Pierce, who was basically at the tippity top of the company. She was one of the most successful paparazzi consultants of all time. And in November, she quit to join Legal Shield, which is a joke in and of itself, but that's for another time. The point is, tons of paparazzi leaders have thrown in the towel this year. If you search "I'm quitting paparazzi" on Facebook, you can scroll endlessly. People are quitting in droves. If I had to guess what the future holds for paparazzi, I think they're gonna hold on to the MLM business model as long as they possibly can. If paparazzi ever went affiliate or even 100% retail, they would sink almost immediately. Their main line of now $8 jewelry is ugly and terrible quality. Always has been, always will be. Outside customers do not want this garbage. Personally, I think they'll try to phase out the $8 bling line because as of very recently, paparazzi launched a new luxury line called Cachet, consisting of allegedly 18 karat gold jewelry for a much more steep price point, ranging from $24 to $64 from what I've seen. I will admit these designs are not nearly as ugly as their $8 line, but at that price point and considering paparazzi's history of not being transparent about basically anything ever, I don't know who all is agreeing to buy this stuff, but I think the Cachet line is what paparazzi is going to try to push moving forward. They also have all of these Cachet pieces of jewelry for sale on each consultant's replicated website, so they're shipped from paparazzi directly to the customer, which makes it easier for paparazzi to track sales, just as the Washington Attorney General told them they needed to do. Maybe this is the beginning of a move to affiliate, who knows? What I do know is that paparazzi's been holding on by the skin of their teeth for the past few years, and I say this every year, but I honestly cannot see how they can hold on much longer. I'm hoping that our Top Fails year-end roundup next year will feature the final and complete end to paparazzi accessories. For now, it's earned our number 4 spot for having their lack of transparency exposed even further, but also because of the major changes they had to make this year. Number 3, Modere's messy closure. In 2025, we saw a couple companies close their doors. One of those closures happened to Modere, an MLM that sold household and wellness products. And what makes this MLM closure worthy of our number 3 spot isn't just because it's one of the few major MLMs that closed this year, but because of how poorly it was handled, how messy the closure was, and how huge this rug pull was. Like I'm telling you guys, 6 weeks before Modere shut down out of the blue, they had their annual convention where they were bragging about how great they were doing. Behind closed doors though, things were brewing that were slated to wipe Modere off the map for good. On April 11th, 2025, seemingly out of nowhere, Modere distributors were met with this message when trying to access the company's website. Thank you for the journey. After 23 years of serving our cherished community, we've made the difficult decision to close our doors. We're incredibly grateful for your support, trust, and loyalty over the years. Whether you've been with us from the beginning or just discovered us recently, thank you for being a part of our story. From all of us at Modere, thank you. It's been an honor. No email, no internal messaging, nothing. And this led to distributors thinking that they'd been hacked because certainly their company would never do this, right?
Well, I was actually at work. Chloe sent me a screenshot and I was like, no, the website's been hacked. Like, there's no way that that could happen. Anyway, how wrong was I? It did happen.
Well, unfortunately for Modere's consultant base, they received a confirmation of this in their inboxes shortly after. This email said, "To our valued social marketers and customers, we regret to inform you that, effective immediately, Modere has officially closed its doors and seized all business operations. This includes the immediate discontinuation of product sales, enrollment of social marketers, and all related business activities. Modere is not transitioning to a direct-to-consumer model. We are permanently ceasing all operations. This decision was sudden, unexpected, and beyond our control. Unfortunately, due to circumstances outside of our management's influence, there was no opportunity to secure alternative funding, pursue restructuring, or provide advance notice. Please be advised of the following important points. Corporate operations. All corporate employees, including elite services, will no longer have access to company emails, corporate communications, or official social media channels, including Facebook chats, effective today at 5 p.m. Payments and commissions. All company funds have been frozen. Therefore, we're unable to process any pending or future commission payments, product credits, bonuses, incentive trip reimbursements, or any other form of compensation or shares. Recent orders. Orders placed within the past few hours will not be fulfilled. Customers who place orders will not be charged unless their order has already been shipped. Access to databases and technology platforms. Access to your databases, back office, and all Modere technology platforms will terminate permanently today at 5 p.m. We strongly encourage you to export any essential data or information immediately if possible. We deeply regret the suddenness and impact of this announcement. Our team is sincerely grateful for your dedication, support, and contributions during our time together. We recognize the challenges this decision may create and genuinely apologize for the inconvenience and distress this causes. Thank you for your understanding." Yep, they just locked everyone out and they were like, "Oh, by the way, we're not gonna pay you either, whoopsie." This closure happened at the very end of the pay period. So every dollar distributors earned for the entire month of March and half of April was not going to be paid out to them. That's over a month's worth of pay that these people may have been relying on to feed their families, just gone. Now, Modere never really truly gave an official reason for this closure. They cited financial difficulties, shifting consumer behaviors, and increasing regulatory scrutiny, which, yeah, all of those things are happening to every company right now. But Modere had experienced some other troubles over the past few years as well. First of all, there was this guy, Justin Prince, who used to be a top leader in Modere until he was terminated by the company in 2023. He then sued Modere for his wrongful termination. Then Modere filed a lawsuit against Justin Prince for allegedly trying to take Modere down by sabotaging business operations and stealing their distributors and convincing them to join his new MLM company, Make Wellness. And Make Wellness was made up of mostly Modere reps in its early days. So Modere basically just accused Justin of trying to take down Modere to make his new company more successful. Anyway, allegedly, Justin Prince had received some insider information that Modere's finances were not doing well and everything was crumbling, and Justin then relayed this information to members of his downline, sparking uncertainty and distrust in Modere, and convincing these people to abandon ship and join Make Wellness instead. It's messy already, I know. This lawsuit was filed on a state level, so it's unclear how this lawsuit ended. However, in the original lawsuit filed by Justin Prince against Modere, it reveals that in 2013, Modere had fallen under control of a private equity firm called Z Capital. Private equity firms have been the downfall of many well-known companies. A recent one that I know of is Jo-Ann Fabrics. These firms basically buy up companies that they straddle their debt to, all to the benefit of the firm's investors. This results in these firms reinvesting money into the firm, not the actual company. The company then becomes poorly managed, they lose sales, and eventually end up closing for good at the hands of these private investment firms. In 2024, Modere also sued some of their ex-distributors for leaving the company for a new company called Frequence. Thousands of Modere distributors allegedly left with these ex-distributors, causing Modere to suffer even more. But Modere's litigious attitude seemed to make things even worse for the company, since with this lawsuit, Modere was seeking a restraining order against these ex-distributors in an attempt to get them to stop stealing their distributors. That restraining order was never granted, and Modere ended up dropping the lawsuit. This filed lawsuit likely cost the company hundreds of thousands of dollars. So if you ask me why Modere suddenly closed down without warning, I'd tell you that was most likely due to a slew of failed litigious action and terrible financial decisions. And who was left holding the bag? The distributors. After this rug pull, Modere products were actually acquired by another MLM called Shackley, so a ton of Modere distributors went there. But there's another company that we need to talk about that rose from the ashes of Modere, which brings us to our number 2 spot this year. Number 2, Nueva. You know the old saying, when one door closes, another one opens. And if you're a top distributor in an MLM that closes, the last thing you're going to want to do is start over completely in an existing company. So you gather 84 of your friends and you start your own MLM, so you will always be at the top of the food chain no matter what. And that's exactly what happened with Nueva, an MLM that sprouted from the grave of Modere. And its mere existence is enough to earn our number 2 spot this year, because while Nueva and their team of 4 bajillion founders thought that they were being sneaky, the anti-MLM movement said, no you don't. In response, Nueva went on the defensive hard, and they failed pretty miserably. Oh, also, they literally used Hannah Alonso and I in their promotional materials. Imagine being an MLM and thinking it'd be a good idea to use anti-MLMers to promote your scheme. These people are idiots, so let's get into it. So far, you've heard me goof around about how many founders Nueva actually has, but let me give you a list of the people who co-founded this freaking company, and you'll understand why I'm goofing so hard. First, we have Brian McMullen, an MLM venture capitalist of sorts, who has had his hands in many, many scammy cookie jars. Then we have John and Nadia Melton, a husband and wife duo who were also top leaders in Modere. And they had some insider connections within Modere. They're self-published authors and podcasters as well. Next up is another husband and wife duo, Tony and Sarah Zalecki. They're network marketing royalty, and they were John Melton's uplines in Modere. They've also been featured in multiple Eric Worre events because Sarah is Eric's cousin. Then there's Josh Zwagel, the CEO of My Daily Choice. I don't know if he would necessarily be considered a founder of Nueva, but he plays a big part in Nueva operations because he basically helped them get their website and back office up and running. Another husband and wife duo, Rick and Michelle Teague, are also founders of Nueva after being top leaders in Modere and Herbalife. Then we have Michelle Barnes, another network marketing heavy hitter who is also a published author in collaborative books. Finally, Margie Aliprandi, another highly regarded figure in the world of network marketing. She was at the tippy top of Modere and has also been featured in Eric Worre events. That's at least 9 founders plus Josh Zwagel. Yeah, an MLM with 9 founders. That is absurd in and of itself. But yeah, Modere abruptly ceases operations, and most of these people were suddenly left without a cash cow. But they're too good to be thrown back at the bottom of another pyramid with those peasants. So instead of rebuilding a team with another MLM, they all decided to link arms and crown themselves as the corporate legs of their own MLM company. Modere closed its doors as of April 11th, 2025. Literally 2 days later, most of these guys were on a Zoom call announcing to everyone that they'd be starting a new company, which they called Nueva.
When we decided on this name as a group, it was like a unanimous, yes. It was like oh my gosh, that's it. And I knew that was going to happen, and to me, I was like, we've got to have a name that is strong, that is classy, that is elegant, but, feminine but strong as heck, right? And that just screams like, oh my gosh, okay? So are you guys ready for the name? Are you guys ready for the name of this legacy masterpiece that we are putting together? Are you ready? So the new company, it's inspired by a Spanish word, new, which obviously this is. The name of our company is Nueva, guys. But what that means is a new standard of wellness, wealth, mindset.
Brian McMullen, being the MLM venture capitalist of the world, would be the company's main investor, and Josh Swagel would develop the company's digital infrastructure. With these two guys on board, they were able to get Nueva up and running fast. And by up and running, I mostly mean that they were all over social media hyping up this new business opportunity without having a single idea of what they'd be selling. They sold the opportunity hard, and people joined in based on hype alone. It just goes to show that being in an MLM is almost never actually about the products. It's about timing. If you get into an MLM early, your chance of shooting your way up to the top of the compensation plan is way higher. People joined Nueva because they thought they'd make a lot of money, not because they actually believed in the products. Because for a long time, there weren't any. They didn't know if what they'd be selling would even work. They didn't know what the price point would be. All they knew was, I'm getting in early, so I'll make a lot of money. Anyway, as the anti-MLM movement always does, we got to work plastering Nueva all over our social media accounts. We even got our hands on their confidential compensation plan Zoom call and exposed that they had just stolen Modere's old compensation plan because, in Brian McMullen's own words, it doesn't exist anymore.
The Modere compensation plan was really great. And so I said, hey, why don't we do that plan, because it doesn't exist anymore.
Nueva didn't like that anti-MLMers had already infiltrated their groups. They didn't like it so much that they started to take the time to issue individual copyright strikes against anyone's content who is critical of Nueva on YouTube. For those who don't know, there's copyright claims and there's copyright strikes. So like a copyright claim would be like if I used a background song that someone else owns the copyright to, they could issue a copyright claim and then YouTube would give me the option to remove that segment, mute the segment, whatever, and it doesn't affect the standing of my channel, but it would affect monetization. So like you would basically be sending all the monetization to the copyright holder instead of keeping it for yourself. It's a flawed system, admittedly, but there's that. A copyright strike, however, is often a aggressive and malicious action that a copyright holder can take against a piece of content that has been uploaded to YouTube. And it does affect the creator's standing on the platform. It's a 3 strikes and you're out rule. If you get hit with 3 active copyright strikes at the same time, your YouTube channel will get terminated. You can appeal strikes as they're given, but that risks opening up a legal case to fight the copyright holder in court. Usually though, the copyright holders don't respond to an appeal because no one wants to be involved in a lawsuit over a stupid YouTube video. So the strike gets dropped within 10 days after the appeal is submitted if the copyright holder doesn't file legal proceedings to take the whole case to court. That almost never happens. So yeah, Nueva decided to take that second option. They decided to copyright strike and shut down any person who was talking bad about Nueva. And they were totally fine with the idea of people's channels being permanently removed just because they had an opinion they didn't like. And they were doing so based on false copyright strikes. Yeah, these strikes were false because all of the videos Nueva issued a strike against fell under the fair use doctrine of US copyright law. Did Nueva care? No. They literally signed the copyright strike document that literally says, under penalty of perjury, I confirm that everything I'm submitting on this form is true. Malicious, gross, pathetic. Among those affected by the copyright strikes were Julie Anderson, Aaron Bees, DeeCee, and Vanessa Moon. All of these creators appealed the strikes on their YouTube channel, and most of the original content was restored to YouTube. And all of these creators have continued to talk about Nueva ever since. As of now, Nueva seem to have given up on silencing their critics. Actually, they kind of made a 180 because they released their first kind of marketing hype video with my freaking face in it and Hannah Alonso. I won't play the full video here because who cares? We're really only at the beginning, but I will show you that part that featured me and Hannah.
On April 11, 2025,
the wellness industry was shaken by a sudden and unexpected announcement.
The health and wellness brand that's been around for over 2 decades just disappeared.
Without warning.
Of course, Modere waited until I was on vacations to decide that they're shutting down their company forever.
Turns out that lots of things could stand in their way because they closed out. When the anti-MLM movement saw this, they swarmed the comments and shamed them for using anti-MLM creators to promote their new scam, in my opinion. In response, the Nueva team responded to a lot of these comments playing dumb, like, what? Oh my god, I had no idea who these people are. And they blamed the person who allegedly edited this video for them. Shifting blame like these people always do. Go figure. I'm not gonna sit here and toot my own horn, but I certainly will toot Hannah's horn. She has a huge following built on exposing multi-level marketing. So don't sit here and try to say to our faces that you've never seen at least Hannah before. And I'm sorry, but I've been doing this for a long ass time. They've seen my face too, come on. Anyway, after they realized that was the losing battle, we got gems like this from Tony Zalecki being extremely bothered, but trying to act like he's not.
Upset, frustrated that people take your content, take your videos, take your reels, take your lives, and they spin AI on it. They make you sound like something you're not. They cut things out, put things in. Does that bother you? And I'm like, no, it doesn't. And they're like, why? Because I said, I got thick skin. You know, like those rhinoceroses you see at the zoo? They got really thick skin. Nothing really bothers them. And that's how you got to be if you want to be successful in life and business, and just block the noise out. Because here's the thing. It's just free marketing. So thank you. I'll take all the leads. And 2, that doesn't define me. That doesn't define us. Our results do. I just want to go impact more people, change more lives, and help more people win every day in their life.
If your haters give you free marketing, why did Nueva try so hard to silence them? Answer that one, Tony. Anyway, eventually, of course, Nueva had to start talking about products. First, they had a Zoom call discussing a peptide called SLUP 332. Well, they pronounce it sloop, but it's spelled slup. What is English? Anyway, anti-MLMers jumped on that immediately just because of how stupid it sounds.
What's up, bitches?
Anyway, they did release these pills called Nueva Body and Nueva Beauty. Nueva Body is supposedly the product that contains slup/sloop. And get ready for the most ridiculous price point you've ever heard. For a 1-month supply, assuming you only take 1 pill per day, 1 bottle of Nueva Body costs $209.99. Nueva Beauty only gets worse at a month's supply, running the consumer $229.99. If you've ever wanted to spend $400 per month on supplements, Nueva is the company for you. Who are the customers again? Oh, that's right, distributors. I highly doubt that they have very many outside customers for this stuff because that price point is insane. But perhaps the funniest thing to come out of Nueva's products was how DeeCee was able to track down a drink they were coming out with based on a PowerPoint presentation they did hyping this stuff up, while censoring the name of the actual product itself. They tried to hide any and all identifying information from this Zoom call, but they forgot to cut out one thing: Corpus Performance Sports Facility in Dallas, Texas. DeeCee then plugged that bad boy into Google and...
We're live streaming right now, and we just found the product that they were trying to redact throughout their entire PowerPoint. You can already buy it. It's at www.h2bev.com. All of the graphs that are on the website match all the graphs that are in the PowerPoint.
Yeah, so it was this stuff, HydraShot. And we know it's the same product because the graphs on Nueva's PowerPoint match the graphs on HydraShot's website. This exposed that Nueva would be white labeling the products that they'd be selling. Unfortunately for them, DeeCee got her hands on a case of this stuff, and when she tried it with her dad, things did not go well.
It kind of tastes like brake fluid.
Nueva has released a drink powder called Nitro, and they're currently supposedly developing a canned version called Nitro Plus. Will this end up being the same thing as HydraShot, or did Nueva decide to abandon the white labeling of HydraShot for themselves because DeeCee spoiled the surprise? That much is unclear right now. I feel like since this was one of the first products they hyped up, it would have been one of the first products they released for purchase. Considering they haven't done that yet, I think they abandoned HydraShot out of embarrassment, but I guess we can revisit all this when Nitro Plus is finally supposedly released. Nueva also released a snow collagen, which I don't think I need to say what this looks like. Great marketing visuals though, wow! Nueva also has a travel platform for $99 to start and then $39.99 per month that basically claims they're giving members access to wholesale airline and hotel prices. With a monthly price tag like that though, I don't see a world in which that's worth it unless you travel multiple times per month. So that's basically where Nueva is with their products currently, but my favorite part about the Nueva story arc this year was when our Queen Julie Anderson infiltrated Nueva during their pre-launch. Before Nueva had products to offer, they were just trying to build their numbers up and recruit as many people as possible. Since there wasn't a money flow established yet, it was free to sign up and get access to their back office, and that's exactly what Julie did. But what started out as a quick grab for information quickly turned into the greatest troll I think I've ever seen come out of the anti-MLM movement ever. Julie started sharing her recruitment link and recruited a team of anti-MLMers and climbed to nearly the top of Nueva's team leaderboard. At the end of the epic troll of a lifetime, Julie made it to the top 3 of Nueva's leaderboard, surpassing most of Nueva's own founders at 301 people, before Nueva finally shut it down. But it took them over 24 hours to catch her, and it was the funniest 24 hours I've ever experienced in the world of anti-MLM. There's not much to update everyone on here at the end of 2025. Nueva did have an in-person summit event for founders, hosting a surprising amount of people, I'll be honest. And apparently Nueva isn't even officially launched yet because they're currently advertising an official launch event in March 2026 in Orlando. You guys hear me say pre-launch a lot when we talk about new MLMs, and this is why. They always do this. So it'll be interesting to see what Nueva does in 2026. They may think that they have a lot of momentum right now, but I honestly think Nueva won't last very long. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think this whole thing has been a big cash grab for the people behind this company. I don't foresee them having a long lifespan, but hey, I guess we'll see what happens next. Number 1, the Brian Underwood lawsuit. Lawsuits and MLMs go together like peanut butter and jelly, like cookies and milk, like... oh, you get the point. There's a bajillion lawsuits thrown around the industry every year. What's so special about this one? Well, in 2025, the biggest expose that came up was a lawsuit against Prove It CEO Brian Underwood, accusing him of sexual harassment, sexual discrimination, assault, and creating a hostile work environment for his female employees. For a man so well known in the world of network marketing, who has caused so much financial harm to thousands of people, in my opinion, but has never been held accountable for any of that, it's refreshing to see him finally get knocked down several pegs, especially because I know personally that there have actually been several allegations made against Brian Underwood for similar things in the past by more than one person. Those allegations are just things I've heard through the grapevine, and I don't have any actual proof or victim statements to point to, but the fact that this lawsuit exists gives credit to those other allegations, in my opinion. The lawsuit is not very long, it's straight and to the point. The lawsuit was filed on July 14th, 2025 by the plaintiff Clarissa Jones. I'm pretty sure I found her on LinkedIn, and assuming this is the right person, she was a corporate employee at Prove It for a little over 5 years. During this time, she says that Brian Underwood did some disgusting things to her. And I'm just gonna read through the main parts of this lawsuit. Just know that as of right now, this is all alleged and should not be taken as fact. And obviously, if sexual abuse is something that's triggering for you, you may want to skip this part. By all means, please take care of your own mental health first and foremost. Almost immediately upon plaintiff working for Prove It, and continuously and incessantly throughout the entire 5 years plaintiff worked for Prove It, Underwood harassed plaintiff, including but not limited to, made suggestive comments to her, asked her to have sex with him, asked her to send naked pictures of herself to him, sent naked pictures of himself to her, and purchased lingerie and bathing suits for her to wear. On one occasion, just weeks after plaintiff began working for Prove It, Underwood walked up to plaintiff while she was in Prove It's copy room and rubbed his Underwood against her. Underwood repeatedly asked plaintiff to come to his house during work hours. There was never a business reason that necessitated plaintiff going to Underwood's house. On at least 2 occasions, defendant Underwood demoted plaintiff, including reducing her pay and ending her bonus structure, within days of her rejecting his explicit advances. Ultimately, in October 2024, plaintiff stated to defendant Underwood that she needed to make more money. Defendant Underwood immediately used it as an opportunity to ask plaintiff to come to his house and have sex with him. Plaintiff declined. Within days, on October 31st, 2024, Pruvit fired plaintiff. For the sake of brevity and not repeating myself in these sections, I'm just going to summarize each count. Count 1 accuses Pruvit of discrimination because of Brian's, quote, repeated harassing comments and committing actions towards her. It says these actions were unwelcomed and were so pervasive and or severe that it created a hostile work environment for Clarissa. Count 2 accuses Pruvit of sexual discrimination because her employment was conditioned on and says that she was terminated because she refused to have sex with Brian Underwood. Count 3 accuses Brian of assault against Clarissa. All 3 of these counts are said to have caused Clarissa to suffer, quote, substantial mental anguish, humiliation, and damages to her personal dignity. After this lawsuit was made public, Brian Underwood allegedly wiped his social media accounts. That's not suspicious at all.
Right around early fall, something changed. People started to notice that Brian's personal social media pages looked a little bit different. By different, I mean all of his personal posts that used to be up on social media were deleted all the way back to 2021. Gone. Deleted. When you go to his social media now, all it is his motivational mumbo jumbo with captions and him trying to look cool. No family photos, well, he still has his little speeches that he gives where he talks in circles. Why do you think he might be deleting personal type posts from his social media? I think you know, and I know, at least our opinions. I don't feel like you delete 4 years of posts because you suddenly hate your feed. I don't feel like you would scrub your image that aggressively on your social media pages unless you're worried about what people might find or what those posts could be tied to. There was a trip that he took to Disneyland, and according to people close to the company, and plenty of screenshots floating around online, Brian has in the past taken at least one trip to Disneyland with his kids and a promoter or a former promoter who appeared to be very close to him. Now, I'm not here to speculate on what their relationship was or was not at the time. However, if these photos were still up when this lawsuit was filed and then conveniently disappeared along with everything else, you start to wonder what story that deleting of that picture tells. It's possible he's rebranding. Come on. It's possible maybe his lawyers advised him to clean house, or maybe it's possible he didn't want the public seeing the version of Brian that existed before all of this started unraveling.
Brian Underwood and Pruvit have responded to this lawsuit and they've basically denied all accusations. Go figure. The answer filed by Brian and Pruvit's attorney basically says she never submitted a formal complaint, so none of this must have happened. There's also a line in there that says any damages claimed in the complaint resulted in whole or in part from Jones's own actions or failure to act. What a disgusting thing to say. As always, it's the woman's fault, of course. Blaming women is the American way after all. They also filed a confidentiality order for everything unearthed in the discovery process. I'm not a lawyer and I don't know how that works, but it seems like we'll never get to see what comes of the discovery process. And the way Aaron Bees puts it, the fact that they filed this confidentiality order so early in the case is suspicious, to say the least.
This is what they want the judge to sign, saying that it allows them to label nearly anything, they being Pruvit and Brian Underwood, anything as confidential, including emails or videos, and even destroy evidence through a clawback clause. But here's what I want to really drive home about this. This confidentiality order was filed before discovery even began. Now, that is the legal equivalent of locking the vault before anybody has had a chance to look inside. Normally, these orders come after evidence starts flowing once there's something to protect, but Pruvit filed theirs early, asking to seal potential evidence before Clarissa's team could even request it. It reminds me of what we've seen in other high-profile cases, like the P. Diddy investigation, where sealing motions came early, long before full evidence exchange. Moves like this, they usually mean that somebody's afraid of what discovery might uncover, in my opinion. Or who else could come forward once these documents see daylight. Remember earlier, I think it was Kat that mentioned that they're afraid of other people coming forward. I think that that is what this is. Again, that is just my opinion. But this early push for secrecy isn't just about the public. It's about keeping potential victims in the dark too. Either way, when a CEO goes on a deletion spree at the same time as companies fighting a confidentiality order in a lawsuit, I feel like it doesn't look like confidence.
There's a hearing scheduled for December 10th, which will probably be a little before you see this video. For all the updates on this lawsuit and anything Prove It related in general, I strongly recommend that you go follow my friend Erin Bees. She's always on top of this stuff and she's fantastic. Also, it's just interesting to mention that Herbalife acquired Prove It and will be absorbing the company in the upcoming year. What does this lawsuit mean for them? What kind of damage control will Herbalife try to do to distance themselves from Brian Underwood's alleged misdeeds? Only time will tell, but I'm sure this is a major thorn in Herbalife's side. To end this section though, Erin posted this to her Instagram, so I'd like to share it here. If you or someone you know worked for Prove It and has similar experiences, you may contact the same attorney that Clarissa used to handle this lawsuit for her. Their contact information is on the screen. If you're a victim of something similar at the hands of Brian Underwood or anyone working for Prove It in general, consider telling your story. I feel like if people spoke out against Brian Underwood, this could hold Brian accountable in all the ways he deserves. And oh my god, guys, that's the end. That's the end of this year. Everything's over. We can all go home now. No, you don't understand. I have been working on this video for a month straight. If you made it to the end of this video, I know this is like probably one of the longest videos I've ever made. It took so much effort on my end. So if you're still here and you're still watching, thank you. If you've been here all year and you watched all this go down, thank you. It means a whole heck of a lot to me. So while we're thanking people, let me throw out a few more thank yous here. First of all, thank you Factor for sponsoring this video. Don't forget, go to factor75.com, use my code, click the link below, get yourself 50% off and free breakfast for a year. You will very much enjoy Factor, I promise. And now we have to thank my patrons and my members, guys. The list of names I'm about to read off are my financial supporters. They get access to things like our private Discord server. We have a postcard club, which this year, oh, and I still have to do all this, but I have it right here. I'm coloring pictures. Well, this is one I'm still working on. It's not done yet. But I have a coloring book and I've been coloring pictures and I'm going to mail them out to people who are in my postcard club. Hand colored by me. I still have quite a few of them left to do, so after I finish this video, I'm gonna get started on that. If you want one of those drawings, it's already too late for you to join. You had to have already been here in December, but just so you know, I usually do something special in December. Like I've mailed rocks out and stuff before, like painted rocks. So this year I'm coloring pictures. But if any of that sounds good to you, you can go to patreon.com/SavannahMarie, or you can click the join button beneath this video to join my YouTube memberships. Whatever works for you works for me. So with that, the biggest thank you in the whole wide world goes to Hula Chowdown, Jacqueline Nutton, Leanne, Kessie Drew, Marie Silver, Maddie Darley, Ray, Caroline Reed, Bug, AJC, Charcity, Luciana Valiente, Emily, Hannah Moe, Alex Offbeat, Love to Be Evil, Liz Sahu, Evan Adler, LaSalle Story, Fluffy Duck Butt 24, Ferd Turgeson Esquire, Just Mark, Alice Wagner, Fallon Harris, Jessica Billhart, and Emmy on. YouTube just changed the way it lists your guys' names on my members, so sorry if that was kind of weird. I literally had to do that from memory, and then there's some new people on here. At least I think they're new, unless they had previous names before. I don't know. I don't know what YouTube did, but now it's a lot hard. I have to like read your guys' usernames now, which is stupid, but that's what YouTube's doing now. Anyway, to the rest of my financial supporters, thank you so much for being here and being you. Even if you're not a financial supporter, thanks for making it to the end of this video. It really means a lot to me because I worked my butt off. I genuinely hope that you have a safe and happy holiday season, whatever it is you celebrate, or even if you don't celebrate at all, I just hope you're having a good time out there, okay? And with that, I don't have any plans to make any new videos until January, but I don't know. You never know. Things happen, so I might be back before then, but if not, I'll see you guys in January in the new year, so stay safe, have a good time. Thanks for being here. See you next time, bye.